The following show is for mature audiences only. Shy City Sports.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
And so the Bears are sending their compensatory fourth-round pick to Jacksonville for Nick Foles.
Just an open competition.
I know we need to run the ball more. I'm not an idiot.
Keeping it 100.
Open competition.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Chicago Bears select Cole Kmet.
Guess who's back? The two dudes that kept it real. Dynamic duo that you love, the smartest man at Dr. Phil. Breaking down the film, never a problem, kick it straight. Most shows focus on stats, we focus on the tape. We keeping it 100, never running east or west. We coming with that truth, cause that's what our fans expect. Cut off the freaking anchor, moving forward to be free. But don't you worry, Shayne's got the dumbest tweets. It ain't no secret, Phil and Shayne got some haters. But now they're moused up like the true and now and laters. Debaters, stars get kicked like Coach Tabor. Cuts had to be made, we added a barber moderator. Up and down, boys got you double checking. Sad sack strolling like a fool drunk texting. Flexing on the truth cause you know they'll never change. Real, recognize real, that's what you get with Phil and Shayne. 100's what we do when we're breaking down the Bears. Fuck a play or a captain, all of the up there. The tape never lies, the truth you see, realize, we analyze, so there's no babies like Maybelline. Straight to the truth with acumen and facts. We got a sad nerd, but he's not just giving nerd stats. Car crash, big impact like Max Sack. Every Wednesday night you got the smartest man and Phil back. Now we know you're smiling like a fat kid with fun dip. We're back better than ever and we're keeping it 100.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Keep it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Keep it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Previously on Bears Hour Live.
You gotta look at the clock. You gotta look in the player's eyes. And when you get up on somebody, you choke them out. You choke them out!
You invest all of your money on this team on the defensive side of the ball.
Put your money where your mouth is. You can't have a Mercedes and put the shitty gas in it, Chuck. You gotta go and fucking put up the premium. Put in the premium.
You want to talk about building your identity. That's where you do it. If you have questions with your quarterback as Matt Nagy, yes, you want to think that they can convert on 3rd and 1. But there's also, it's fundamental football. You have the hot hand rolling.
You can't find your identity week 11 again. You need to freaking close games out. There's too much talent on this football team. Tariq is a situational guy. He's a gadget guy. He's not, let's put him in there. Let's go outside zone, inside zone.
Phil, it comes back to this killer mentality that we've been preaching. It's just, it's not there with this team.
The defensive guy has just as much right to the football. This wasn't a tackle attempt. This was a possession to the ball attempt.
we realize that W's are hard to come by, and at the end of the day, it's the most important thing that you get the W, but it's the process, and that's what we're going to be talking about here, and that's the way that we roll at the Tape Never Lies Network. We're going to talk about the process that got you there, because you can even look, Phil, I know you're not on Twitter, but you know the game. You hear we're like, we just want a game where it's not a ball game.
I'm biting my tongue, Shane. I hate to cut you off, but I saw a comment. If you think Khalil Mack is overrated, just leave the stream. Leave the fucking show. I don't need a like, a follow. If you think Khalil Mack is over fucking rated, go to another network. Whatever I did, I go, Darnell Mooney's blocking better than some of our offensive linemen. He squares up, goes after the defensive back, and drives him. Pulling Khalil Mack, first play of the second half. I don't get Pagano.
I'm backed up exactly where you want them, and I understand they're easing Quinn back in, but it was Vaughters and Mingo. I mean, you have them backed up there to make it. I mean, you might be able to you might be able to sneak away 2 points. You don't. I mean, you have two premier
situation backed up.
You gotta have
Max. Got to be on the fucking.
Yeah, you gotta have
the game
your big guns up there.
Yo, this is Claudio the Barber, and this is Shy City Sports Keeping It 100. 2-0. Let's go, baby. We got a great show for you tonight. We got Aaron Leming on from the Bears Report. We got to talk about not one, but 2 Tape Never Lies breakdowns. So, you know what? There's going to be a lot of walrus talk, I'm sure. So, let's get it. Shane, the smartest man, Marsaw, and Draft Dr. Phil. What up, guys? There he is.
Hey. Oh, yeah.
The timing's off, but it's all right. What's up?
You were like talking.
Yeah.
But your flow was way ahead, so you look like a kung fu movie.
I know. Well, I was like, you know.
You want to fight? Fight me.
When I think
what
kung fu, I
up?
always think of audio.
2-0 Bears.
2-0 Bears.
That's it.
Keeping it 100 tonight with my boys. The chat room's already filling up and fired up. The Tape Never Lies came out today, Shane. The All 22 came out. I went to work immediately because I've had so much going on in my life, my personal life. I don't think some fans who want edits and directions, they're all directors. It's like, it's amazing to me.
Man, I know.
Can you adjust your audio?
There was a...
I love you guys, but your show's fucking horrible.
Your double vocal effect is affecting my life. Listen,
like Regis Philbin.
there was a YouTube issue today, so it affected the drops. It is what it is.
But once you got Patreon going, it's just gonna get even better.
It is. So I just feel this beat.
Another reason to get on that.
The patronage is gonna come since Claudio brought it up. The Tape Never Lies isn't going to be 30 minutes long every week for free. It'll probably be 10. And then the 30-minute ones and the extra bonuses that I'm excited about are going to be in the patronage. So you're going to have to jump in and join in on that. And so much to get into. We have weeks, though, ahead as we move forward. And BHL will be this Sunday. We're keeping it 100 tonight. Sponsored by Shy City Sports, Shane. Yeah. Bringing it with us, our boys, Steven Johnson and Zach Flufferhead Pearson. What's his name? Kid and Play, the kick step.
Kid and Play. We'll see that a little bit later, but
yeah.
Shy City's got a big giveaway going. If you guys look at the bottom of your screen, you guys can win a free t-shirt
tonight,
in
right?
stock. Yep. And a free Bears mask from ChyTownClothing.com. And we will pick a winner tonight. And it won't be Swanky. So sorry, Swanky.
Hey, Mom, what's for dinner? Go up your nose and pick a winner. Picking boogers. Tonight we'll pick somebody. One of you 100 crew from the chat. You get a free Bears mask and a t-shirt of your choice. So it's going to be really
T-shirt's
fun.
Got to be in stock, they said. So
It's got to be in stock. So let's keep it 100. We got a big show to get into, but let's talk a little bit about what happened last week. I missed the music. I'm just a music guy, but we're here now. The Tape Never Lies came out today. We broke it down, and some of the same issues that affect this football team rear their head in that game. And you saw in the open a live reaction by me and Shane from this past weekend. That's Bears Hour Live, exclusive on this network. And just to show you, yes, we're live, baby. And that was live in our reaction. And when I watched the tape, Shane, we were so on point with what we were saying, from Mooney to Mitch to Montgomery. And let me just get this out. Montgomery is your best offensive player now. It's
No doubt.
there's no doubt anymore. So a coach that needs to find his identity, hopefully, it took me all of 11 minutes? It took him 11 games last year. And I think he's kind of recognizing, someone sent me some audio, I just didn't have any time, Shane, where Coach Nagy actually hangs his hat on the running game and the tight ends. That's their identity. Did you hear that audio, Shane?
I'm sorry, I was responding to Noah in the chat room because
Noah?
Yeah, you screwed him over and didn't give him a T-shirt that you promised him. So
I was gonna put
taking
it
care
up.
of that for him.
Noah?
Yeah.
I owe him a T-shirt.
He said for Leno's nickname. He came up with Leno's nickname.
What
he
nickname
said.
is that?
I don't know.
All right.
Speed Bump Charlie, right?
I thought I said Speed Bump Charlie.
I don't know. I think there's a big debate here. We might have to have
Big
Noah on
debate.
sometimes.
Maybe we're going to have to bring Noah on. I thought I said Speed Bump Charlie and the Tape Never Lies 2 years ago. 2 years ago I called him that. But someone's saying, I saw them comment that they're going to get a 72 shirt, speaking of Speed Bump Charlie, and put Speed Bump Charlie on the back. Now, if they do that, we got to have him on the show, and we have to have some
Claudio.
pictures. I know, Claudio's meowing over there. Is that your bear in the background? Gerlacher?
Yeah, I had somebody in the chat room, like Mike said, is the best bear he ever seen. Yeah, that's
Look at that.
Gerlacher. If nobody, nobody
Claude's
knows
in the
that,
barber shop tonight.
I am.
If you
I'm
can't
in
tell.
my shop. It's for a couple weeks, and I'm going to a new shop. With
You
the
can
same
cut it out.
gig,
You cut
so-
that fucker in half, Claudio.
Cut it out. Everyone's looking forward to that.
Yeah, I had time to prepare, so I think it'll be a little better this week.
Don't get
Little-
cocky.
Little better. Just
Don't
a
get
little.
cocky,
We'll see.
Claude.
We'll see.
So, are you excited about what you see from David Montgomery? I broke it down today.
Yeah, Phil, how often did we talk? You see the big improvement on the interior of this line, and that's where a guy like David Montgomery is going to eat. He can keep his feet. You saw that. Alex Brown talked about it today, saying, you're handing off to him, he's getting a 12-yard gain, then he gets a 14-yard gain, then he gets another one, and you're pulling him out of the game. Why? Why are you doing that? It doesn't matter. You don't need to get cute. You can keep going, and then 3rd and 1, you're passing. 4th and 1, you're passing. Like I said, I'm not going to kill Nagy overall for his play calling through these first 2 games. You can be critical no matter what in any situation, but overall, I'm not going to kill it. That situation right there drove me fucking crazy.
Claudio put comments up, making me laugh. That was a good one. We should give the best comment something.
Yeah,
I
whoever
know
has the best.
we're getting swag. The Sandlins and Acevedo are our swag team, and they do other things too. So we're getting swag. We're designing it because we want it to be special. We don't want half-ass shit just thrown out, run-of-the-mill. We want some real Shane and Phil approved stuff that we know
are going to. Shit that Cherie's going to be happy with.
Exactly. I want Cherie happy. I want my man Will. I want Quentin Bosa in China rocking it, and our boy Kostos from Greece. I want those guys happy with what they purchase. And There you go. Look at you on the day it released. And the day it released, Swagman sent it over. Draft Dr. Phil's The Tape Never Lies. Now, getting back to that, 33 minutes, keeping it 100 on tape. That's what I do. Everything at the Tape Never Lies network is keeping it 100. Even if it's the hardest subject that we have to talk about, we're keeping it 100. Now, that's going to segue me into this because for me, I don't know if you know, I'm going to just get this out of the way, Shane. I think you know where I'm going. Mm-hmm. This weekend, I get goosebumps. I'm a vulnerable guy. I'm a fiery guy, Shane. Everyone busts my chops. But my heart, I wear my heart on my sleeve. This weekend, I talked about my cousin on the show. Now, this is the true story now. I'm going to share the story to give you perspective. And then we're going to get into this. And then Aaron's going to come on. We're going to continue talking about the Bears. But I want to just do something special. I lost my cousin Eric this weekend. He's one of the greatest people, kindest human beings I knew. And it just so happened that my father called my wife as the Giants are driving down the field on the final drive. And I could see my wife's face in shock. And I'm sitting there thinking something happened to my dad or my mom. And I'm breathing and I'm screaming at the screen. And Claudio was there to witness it. And I just couldn't do it. And Claudio had the great presence of mind as a friend to say, don't tell, because she told him, don't tell Phil. He's got to do the show. I know that he'll be down and out. So on the show, coincidentally, unknowing that any of this shit with my cousin happened, I bring up my cousin, Eric Ottochian, and this is what I produced for him. And I hope you guys can now understand what I was talking about. And pardon me if I get emotional.
Keeping It 100.
Draft Doctor Phil Ottochian.
It just made no sense to me.
Oh, it's like the guys rested the whole fucking half.
Right.
It's like these guys. I need my cousin Eric's. I gotta upload that this week for the fucking Keeping It 100. Remember about these guys? They get all this money with his accent, and they're fucking TV timeouts. There's commercial timeout. He's fine, Chuck.
Okay, you have 15 minutes of football. You stop for commercial. You stop for everything. It's a 3-hour game in an hour. You're gonna tell me, oh, the defense has been on the field for so long. They play for 5 seconds. They stop for a TV commercial. They come back. They're winded. What were they doing? Running laps while we were watching McDonald's commercials? There's no way those guys are tired. I coach football, Pee-wee kids. I coach them for 6 quarters. So coach, there's no 6 quarters in football. I know, but when we get to the 4th, you won't be tired. Everybody else will be. And that's how you win games. These guys, I don't know what they do for conditioning. They're not allowed to hit in practice no more. They're all worth too much money. They should all put their ballerina skirts on and dance.
There you go. Little Keeping It 100 truth. That, I mean, if you question life after death, I mean, I didn't even know. And to bring him up, you talk about a coincidence. Or
yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful thing, Phil. I mean, just that little piece that you did for him, I mean, I think it speaks to who you are as a family member. I never had the honor to meet Eric, but I've met you, and I mean, you want to talk about love and compassion and just trueness as a person. That's who Phil Ottochian is, and he would be the same way with Eric. And I got the phone call from Phil immediately after he found out, and it was emotional for me too. And I had never met the guy just because I could hear my best friend on the other line being broken, and it a little piece of my heart broke off for Phil because I knew that it was losing his cousin is, it's a big deal for anybody. We don't get to see our family members as much as we'd like, especially with the way that everything's going today. And, unfortunately, when something like this happens, you do have those memories. I mean, how you'll cherish that video forever now. It's something that you can show your boys. But
and his brothers and his mother. I mean, real quick, I just want to say this one thing. The outpouring of true, vulnerable compassion towards me and my family from all these 100 crew peeps that I've gotten the chance to meet or anything is completely humbling. And I thank you all. I'm keeping it 100 with you. I told my wife, the cutting the tape and being a part of this is a distraction for me. It really helped me kind of suppress the loss. Not that you can, because it just continues to baffle me. But cutting the tape and getting the tape never lies while I'm thinking of this cousin of mine and the person he was. He'll never be forgotten. You could see in that video. I'm so glad I filmed it because he was a character. So just want to thank you all, and I thank you for allowing me to put my family, my love and passion. I think Shayne, Claudio, I talked to Shayne today. I've never felt so good about doing the show and our shows and creativity. There's no anchors. There's no drama and bullshit surrounding us. I'm just keeping it 100 with you. I've never felt so free to do what we want to do and have fun talking football, but also talk real life. Whatever the topic is, there's no boundary. That's what I love about the title of the show, the tape, and that's why I don't give a shit about who wants to follow or who wants to sign up for patronage or who wants to be a part. I just want really good people. Surround yourself with good people and good vibes. That's really what I want. I swear. I fucking throw down swears. I say what I want, but I know who I am. And it's coming from a really good place. I know that might not make sense to the person that's cringes at a swear or a curse, but reality is that's where it is. And again, thank you for allowing me to share that man with everybody. And like you said, Shayne, thank you. And let me get Claudio back in here. Allow Claudio to keep it 100 and allow me to do BHL and now embrace my cousin and share with the planet, the worldwide network that this is, who he was. So thank you guys. And that's what this is all about. I mean, football is life for me. Ask my wife, ask Claudio. And you guys are all family. So many DMs, so many people to thank. But back to football, because I know there'll be some critics and what have you. So it gets me fired up, though, because there's signs that this team, 2-0, is taking steps. And then there's signs that they're taking
Baby
steps back. So,
Baby steps.
Bill Murray's Bob. What about Bob? Or are we going to be the Ghostbusters, Bill Murray, and just fucking bury people and put them and slime them?
Well,
I don't know what we're gonna do.
I was telling Shayne in the pre-show, in the whole NFL, the only thing consistent is inconsistency. So almost every team is going to have...
And we know all about that in Chicago.
Well, of course. But you know what? 2-0.
From the kicker.
2-0 is 2-0. We made it happen. The first game, our offense had to come in and bail us out. Second game, we didn't score any points in the second half. Our defense held up. So you know what? We got to be happy. And, I think there's a lot of improvement, but we're going to, we got the right pieces, and we just got to put them together.
Look at you, Claudio. You're starting to get comfortable in this role of moderator.
It's getting
Trying,
there.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate
Fucking
that.
guy's going to start his own network in a couple weeks, probably.
Oh, boy.
Well, I think we have our guest.
Yeah,
right?
he's there. I mean, the picture of him's not out, though, so...
We don't see you on camera. If you
Don't
can
be bashful, Aaron. Turn that camera on.
We got to see you on camera so we know.
Ready to click him in here once you... Comes
Well,
on camera.
we always introduce people. So I just
What
got
am
to
I
get a
tr-
thumbs up if he's ready. He might not be at his camera.
Yeah.
But irregardless, let's wait till we see him so we know he's ready. Or he
Quentin
could-
wants to know what I'm drinking for some reason. It's Purple Haze Bang. So I don't
There
know.
you
Quentin,
go.
Quentin wants to know. There you go. I'm here to answer your questions. There you go.
You gotta always speak your truth. That's what keeping it 100 is. Even if it's vulnerable or emotional, you gotta speak it. You talk about it. You talk about the haters. You talk about the people you love. Whatever it is, you gotta do it. For me, coming out of this game, I'm very, very, very excited about two guys, and that's number 11 and number 32 on offense. I really think
Mo Mooney
is really taking a step. We're going to get into that. But really, as we were talking about to begin the show, David Montgomery is becoming your absolute best offensive weapon. And hopefully, Nagy embraces that and doesn't take that role. He's learned from it and says, I'm not going to say I didn't come here to run the eye. I'm here to win. Because that's where the difference in a Belichick and a Parcells and a Lombardi and a list that goes on with the best, Don Shula. They do what's best for their team, not what they think they know best. That's the difference. And when you get that, you get a running game. And honestly, Shane, I said it on the tape never lies. There's a moment where he just looks exactly like Thomas Jones, hitting that inside zone and just running through and over people. It gets you excited about this football player. And really, the hands, everything we've heard about David Montgomery and the offseason work that he's done showed up on tape the past 2 weeks. Last week in a more limited role, even though he had 60-something yards. Yeah. This week, he's becoming the bell cow. So, you got to be happy.
I just talked to our guest, and he's having some technical difficulties with his camera, so we're going to add him without that right now so we can get him rolling. But if you want to
let me
do the
introduce
proper
this
intro.
Guy. We only do it the way we do it, Claudio. Let me set up his intro. I was waiting for... Where is he? Oh,
there he is.
This guy covers the Chicago Bears for Windy City Gridiron and for Bears Report, where he works with some guy named Zach that needs a haircut. And he loves to debate with all the fine folks that are involved with Lions Twitter.
No.
100 crew. Let's give a big Texas-sized welcome to the new homeowner. He's Aaron Leming.
Aaron Leming in the house with us tonight. Aaron, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you, man. That was quite the impressive intro there.
That's how we do it here, Aaron. I wish your Apple camera was working, because right now I just see I should put an emoji up for you. I don't know. So how you doing, Aaron?
On there, man.
What's that?
Just put a nice lemon on there and call it a day.
How did you come away from Sunday's game, Bears versus Giants? What are your, come away key points in regards to that so far?
Well, after almost having a heart attack, like I think we probably all did for the second week in a row, it's just one of those things, man. And obviously I just kind of jumped into this. I don't know what you guys have talked about so far, but if you watch the rest of the league and just some of the other games, even the primetime games, Saints for example, there's not a lot of good there's not a lot of teams playing good football right now, right? So it's one of those situations where the Bears were 8-8 last year. They severely disappointed, and if you go back to 2018. A lot of their wins in the early season before the Tampa Bay game were not pretty. I mean, when they were 2-1 going in that Tampa Bay game, a lot of people thought that Tampa Bay was going to run over them because they had a better offense. And I think that you can draw a lot more parallels, at least in my opinion right now, to the 2018 team than you can the 2019 team. And sometimes you just have to win ugly. The point is, at this point in time, is they're winning games. They're 2-0. I mean, that's the biggest thing right now, at least in my mind, where you can figure things out as you go. They have a favorable schedule over the next few weeks. it's one of those situations where you keep winning, you piece things together, and at some point you hope things click, and maybe it will be against Atlanta. Atlanta doesn't have a good defense. They project a lot the same way as the Bucs did in 2018. I'm not saying that'll happen, but I'm not overly concerned because I think, at least in my mind, offensively, I've seen a lot of things that I do like from Trubisky, from the play calling, from the overall scheme and what they're doing. I think a lot of it is just they're not at that point yet where we can sit there and say, okay, they can get over a mistake or two within a drive. They're just not at that point, but they're moving the ball a lot better than they did in 2018 so far.
And professional athletes are creatures of habit. We all know that. I mean, we've been around it and, I mean, watched it forever. And this off season has been unlike any other. I mean, there's been really, you can't do anything that you're used to. How much are you chalking up this up and down play to being that this is really week 2, in the preseason? These guys are so used to going out there having a full OTA mini camp, heading into training camp, the at least 3 preseason games because they all sit out the 4th one. But how much are you chalking up to like this is really the dress rehearsal for the season down in ATL this weekend?
Well, I mean, that's a really good point. I mean, not only did they not have a preseason, but they had a shortened camp and they had no other sort of physical offseason when you go back to OTAs or mini camps. I mean, and this is the same way throughout the entire league right now. And I think we're seeing it in 2 different ways. We're seeing it with good teams that aren't presenting as good teams right now because they're playing sloppy. Like I said, the Saints are a prime example of that. I mean, even if you go back and look at some of the other games with good teams, I mean, the Patriots have had their moments as well. I mean, the Chiefs almost lost to the Chargers. They almost lost to a rookie quarterback in Justin Herbert. So I definitely think there's a lot there, but I think the other side of this, and I think where the Bears have an advantage at least going into week 3, is looking at the injury reports right now. I mean, look at all the guys that went on IR this last weekend because of ACL injuries and the different things. I mean, we've seen a ton of big names. We saw one in the Bears game with Saquon Barkley. We saw Christian McCaffrey go on IR, I mean, short term, but then you look at the Bears injury report, and outside of John Jenkins, I mean, they have no real injuries to speak of. And I think that that's one positive I think that we can really look at and say, okay, the Bears are at least going into week 3, and granted, it's still early in the week. We're talking Wednesday. This is the first injury report. But at least looking at the injury report right now, I mean, we're talking seven starters for the Falcons right now that did not play. Did not practice today. And you look at the Bears, and I mean, John Jenkins is a good depth piece, and depending on what they're doing on the defensive line for, whatever it is that play, maybe he's out there. But you're not talking any impact players like you are for these other teams. So I think that you're seeing the effects of no preseason and a shortened offseason as a whole manifest in multiple different ways. And maybe it's a disadvantage in some ways of the Bears, but I think, in terms of health and just when you're looking at the depth that they have versus some of these other teams, I think they can sustain more injuries, but they haven't even had to worry about that so far. So I think that's definitely a plus when you're looking at them being 2-0 and being pretty dang healthy for week 2 of a bloodbath after what happened this last weekend.
You say I talk a lot, Shane. That was a long Aaron was killing that answer.
Yeah, I have to, man.
Aaron, when you
talk to you guys, right?
when you look at Anthony Miller, first game, you see him continuing to carry that baton that he carried from last season into this season. This next game, when your young quarterback is needing playmakers to make plays, obviously the whole narrative on Trubisky changes if Anthony Miller catches the dime ball in the end zone and the one on the on third down. I see that. Are you concerned about Miller going forward? And is there a chance in your mind we're going to see a little bit more of Riley Ridley?
Well, I think when you look at the snap counts that Miller's had in both games. I mean, I've been a big Miller fan. I was a big Miller fan when he came out of Memphis. I mean, I really liked him. The only thing I didn't like about him is he's a little bit older of a prospect. But yeah, I think right now when you look at the overall snap count of what's going on right now, and the fact that Darnell Mooney in his second pro game is somehow getting way more snaps than Miller, I mean, it says a lot. And I think you kind of nailed down on the head, though, right? It comes down, and this has been the same thing with Miller since his first year in the league, is it comes down to attention to detail and focus. And that's something that he's lacked in his details for basically his entire NFL career. I mean, it's been route running. It's just been, just the laziness of, like I said, the details on the field. And then you point out, in week 2, I mean, I've been critical of Trubisky. Obviously, anybody who follows me on Twitter knows that. But here's the reality. That was a perfect ball to Miller. I mean, that's a perfect ball. You could not have thrown that better. That was his only decision that he could have made right there. And Anthony Miller has to come down with that catch. But that's the thing, is it's been a consistent thing with him, and he does good things, and that's why I still like him. But I think when you take out the personal feelings from it and you look at what the Bears are actually doing and what the coaches are viewing, the fact that you have a 5th-round rookie who went into a second game of the season, and this just doesn't go for, it just doesn't go for Anthony Miller. It goes for Ted Ginn Jr. as well. I mean, they clearly are very high in him. But as far as Riley Ridley goes, that's another one, man. They hyped him up all offseason, and he's been a healthy scratch for his first 2 games. He's not really following the Javon Wims plan right now, which is, obviously pretty much a healthy scratch all of his rookie year, and then all of a sudden he starts playing, and we really haven't seen it yet. So I don't understand what's going on there, because at least in my opinion, when him coming out of Georgia, he was at least a good route runner. I think that usually translates pretty well even for, young receivers.
Aaron, when you're looking at this offensive line, talk about the biggest differences that you see going to a Juan Castillo-led unit, and just talk about the difference in aggressiveness and maybe something that you've noticed in the blocking schemes, how they've changed a little bit.
Well, I think in terms of at least the main difference that I've seen so far has been within the run game, and they're running more outside zone, which I think is just smarter all the way around. And I was kind of curious what they were going to do, because, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I felt like the differences in quarterback between Trubisky and Foles was also going to kind of dictate what they were able to do with the run game as well in terms of the blocking scheme. I felt like with Nick Foles, it was probably going to be better to run more outside zone, but it feels like they seem to favor that anyway, especially with Juan Castillo. But again, I think the big change right now, at least from what I've seen, has come from the running game and the majority of the interior line. I mean, let's be honest here. I mean, neither one of the tackles are still looking overly great right now, but I think for the most part, like I said, especially in the run game, I mean, you just look at their yards per carry right now and what they're doing offensively. It was actually funny. I was going and, doing my normal weekly pieces, kind of setting everything up for the game this week, and looking, it's like the Bears are averaging almost 150 rushing yards per game. And obviously some of that's from Trubisky on scrambles, but traditionally running the ball, they're doing a much better job of it. And I think the other thing that I've noticed that's been quite an advantage, not only for the running game, but also for Trubisky as well, is they've been playing more under center and not as much out of shotgun. And I think that helps from a predictability aspect.
I've been saying that for 3 years with this guy. And when you coach quarterbacks, there's a certain level of rhythm and muscle memory. Even if a quarterback hadn't taken snaps from center, it just ignites a response when it comes to the quarterback position in the proper steps, in the proper motion. And that's why, I mean, it's a whole nother show. High school football and shotgun and read game and spread game versus getting under center with, 13 personnel or 22 personnel, however you're going to frame your personnel numbers. But the reality is Mitch going under center has helped him technically, fundamentally throw the football a lot better. And I've seen that for years, and now he's starting to do it. The identity, let's talk about that. Your head coach has been learning on the job, Aaron. He admitted as much. I'm not a big fan of coaches in the NFL learning on the job. A high school, college, I could do. In the NFL, I can't, and not with the Charter franchise. But 2-0 is nothing, to wave a stick at, so to speak. So have you seen differences in your eyes in regards to Matt Nagy?
Absolutely. I think, again, a lot of it comes down to the run game. And to me, and maybe you guys see it differently, but to me, I see more of a run-first approach. And I think that's best, especially offensively, when you're looking at the fact that I mean, they got Allen Robinson, but I mean, they have some new targets. I mean, Jimmy Graham's new, Cole Kmet's new, Darnell Mooney's new, Ted Ginn, if they ever get him out on the field, same thing. It's one of those things where I feel like the Bears are best when they're able to control the clock and they're able to set up the run and control the run and allow them to set up the pass. And I think that's something that they've been doing pretty consistently. And again, kind of going back and looking at just 2 weeks, it's a small sample size at this point, but going back and looking at the numbers, Matt Nagy has done a very good job of staying consistent with the run, which is something that, I mean, even going back to his Kansas City days and the 8 games that he called, I mean, that was something of a concern. And I think moving forward, that is going to be a big key because, obviously we can all have different feelings on Trubisky and where he's at and if he's the franchise quarterback. But I think that we can all agree, at least to a certain extent, that he has looked better this year. To me, again, he looks more like 2018 Trubisky than he does 2019 Trubisky. And I think one of the main reasons for that this year is because they're not having to be so reliant on the passing game when you're having so many negative run plays and you're putting Trubisky in situations where he's passing from a second or third and long situation. And I think, again, that's going to be big moving forward and having the success in the run game to set up these second and third and short situations to put him in favorable situations. And as we've seen, especially in week 2, they were much better on third down. And I think that's a big thing moving forward, too. You put Trubisky in more favorable situations and you build confidence. I think more than anything, Trubisky has all the tools necessary, I think, for him to truly succeed and to continue to go down the right path. I think really what it comes down to, it's a mental game for him right now, whether it's mechanics, whether it's breaking different things that he's had in the past that he needs to change, or whether it's simply building confidence and keeping the confidence. I think a lot of it to him is the mental game. And it kind of feeds back into your point about going from under center and just being able to build repetition from the smallest part possible. And it's the same exact thing with the run game, where if you're not relying on him as heavily, which you don't need to, especially within this offense, I mean, they have multiple different ways that they can move the ball. If you continue to put him in favorable situations, the results are just going to be better.
And this is really a tough question to answer, but everything that's surrounding Allen Robinson, and we see him go out there and not have one of his best games this past Sunday. Have you heard anything? When are you expecting maybe for everybody to hear something more, that maybe they've had a breakthrough in these negotiations and it's something that they can get locked up and he can move on and concentrate on football, like he said, because it's clear that football isn't the only thing on his mind right now.
Yeah, see, I haven't heard anything. It's been one of those things that it's such a weird situation, and I don't think it set a bad precedent by any means, but it's kind of one of those things when you got every single, you got all these players coming out on social media, you got this whole big stink in the media being made last week about this. And the first guy you extend is Tariq Cohen. And again, nothing against Cohen, and I don't have any issue with the extension, but you would like to hope that something would follow after. But at least going off of his word today, I mean, everybody knows where they stand. I don't know what that means. To me, and I'm very pro Allen Robinson, I think that he's their best offensive weapon. I think he's absolutely somebody that they need to keep. But I can also objectively say that, let's just put it this way. I mean, Sunday was not one of his best games. I mean, there's plenty of blame to go around for some of the stuff that happened, but especially on that second interception. I mean, that was a catch, I think, personally. And Taylor Gabriel seemed to disagree with me on Twitter. But me personally, I think if Allen Robinson wasn't focused on anything except for football, I think that's a catch. I think he wins that 10 out of 10 times, and it is what it is. But I mean, to answer the question, I just don't know. I was optimistic that something was going to happen this week, and I mean, it still could. But I mean, we're already almost going into Thursday right now, and there's been virtually no talk of it. It's kind of getting to that point where you're 2-0, you've got good things going on, but you also want to keep your best offensive weapon happy, and you don't want a distraction. To me, at least in my mind, and granted, I don't really know what's going on in negotiations, but to me, this seems more on pace than anything at this point. It's like, you got to get something done.
Speaking of pace, how much do you think they watch their offensive tackles? You brought them up. I'm showcasing them for the last 2 years. And how piss poor, we'll say, number 72 is. There's got to be some sort of investment there. And since he's been the general manager, he has not emphasized that position in regards to the draft. So if you look at what they've done at the quarterback, he's not drafted, but obviously Mitch Trubisky, and then he stated that, it's the most important position and you got to draft one every year. He's not done that. And you talk about Charles Leno on tape. I mean, you have to be football illiterate to watch this and not see that this is a below average tackle. So how much of this is on pace paying this guy, and thus he's out there, in your opinion?
Well, I think Pace has had, in my opinion, he's had 3 positions where he's failed to evaluate properly and failed to do enough. And I think quarterback's one of those, tight end's one of those, and offensive tackle's one of those. And
there you go.
It's a situation where we've seen in the last few years where they've had multiple opportunities to go out in the early rounds and draft somebody, even if they're not starting them right away, even if they're not starting them, whether it's right tackle or left tackle. I mean, at this point, in my personal opinion, pick one. It doesn't matter. Pick one. You could replace either one of those guys. They're both basically, in terms of contract, they're in a situation where going into 2021, they can release them and get some cap relief, and it's not as big of a deal. But you've got to do something. And, it's like you go back and you look at free agency, and usually the teams that end up paying big money to tackles regret it within a few years, if not regret it within the first year. I mean, the best way to do that is to go out and obviously draft one, and hopefully – assuming that things stay together, they have a good year, and the coaching staff and everybody's back. Hopefully, with Juan Castillo and them having the first, second, third round picks back, at least for the time being, hopefully they'll be in a position to where they can go out and they can go out and draft one and develop them, because it's getting to that point where you look at it and it's Bobby Massey's over the age of 30. Charles Leno has had, in my opinion, I think he's had one above average season, and the rest is average to below average. I know you dislike him more than I do, but either way, when you look at it, how are you supposed to have a top-end offensive line if both your tackle spots are in bad spots? And that's kind of where it's at. But again, how are you supposed to address that if you're not drafting anybody to try to develop? It's one of those situations. Like I said, there's 3 different positions where I think Ryan Pace, at least with tight end, he's taken multiple swings at. But I think all the other, the other 2 positions I just mentioned, especially offensive tackle, which is very, very valuable, and I think some people tend to overlook that all the time, is you've got to make some sort of investment there. And okay, monetarily, yeah, you did. You went out and signed Bobby Massey, and you've invested in re-signing Charles Leno. But it's not producing good results, and you don't have any depth. And this is the same thing we've seen for a few years now, where they have no depth behind them. What happens if one of those guys goes down? Jason Spriggs isn't the answer. I don't. That's the thing, is I don't understand where he puts the value in certain positions, and he does certain things so well. But then there's so many areas where you look at Ryan Pace, he's starting to get that way, in my personal opinion, with the cap. And he's starting to look very Mickey Loomis-like to me. And they're getting into a situation where, again, moving forward, offensive tackle is going to have to be a position that they're going to have to look at and say, can we afford to pay Bobby Massey what we're paying him, and can we afford to pay Charles Leno what we're paying him with the product that they're giving us? And so far, at least in my opinion, through 2 weeks, not a lot has changed at the tackle position. But again, they have nobody behind them because they haven't drafted anybody.
Well, it's Massey, and this is Leno on the tape. It's not even close. Agree. It's not even close. Charles Leno is how you get a flat tire and you put the friggin' donut on it? That's what he is. He's a donut. And you got to replace a donut, especially in this game in the NFL where the left side is that important. It's not even a question to me. It's almost despicable. That's how bad it is, and it's so up and down that there's no consistency. You look at the New York Giants. Remember they drafted the kid Flowers out of Miami? They had to run him out of town because he couldn't play left tackle. And here we are. I'm telling you, Aaron, on the tape, Juan Castillo, those guys, that Giant defensive line, I said to Shane, I go, these motherfuckers can play because they were physical. And in years past, this Harry Heastand and before him, whoever the offensive line coach with Fox, I forget who he was. Was it one of the Rodgers? Whoever it was. They fucking became soft like puppy shit. And they They got swallowed up. You saw it in the Raiders game last year. They got swallowed up by the Raiders defensive line. It was a brawl, and they got swallowed up. Yesterday, those motherfuckers came out and fired off the football, and David Montgomery behind them. That's your identity. And hopefully Nagy gets rid of the gimmickry and gets underneath center, like you said, and starts using 32 to be the force of the game plan. Then your Tariq Cohen can be a part of it, almost like a Sproles or Danny Woodhead would be in the offense. You use them in certain situations, whether it be slot or in the backfield. Obviously, he's your punt returner. That's what that is. But I think anyway, Shane, I just think Juan Castillo has really squeezed out some toughness, and a Fetty coming in here, white hair, and James Daniels. You talk about somebody leaving in an offseason and coming back like a man. That's how you work. You don't go in the offseason, come back looking like, you stomached up on fucking Popeye's chicken. That's 72. That's my mini rant, Aaron.
No, that's fair. Obviously, the tackle position, I mean, anybody who's watching the All-22 the last 2 weeks, I mean, you can look at their interior line and see there's a clear change there, and you can see it within the running game. But then you look at the tackle situation, and there's still a lot of the same. And it's funny because I think it was 8 or 9 times in the first half of week 1 that Charles Leno ended up on the ground run block. How the hell does that happen?
We call it the walrus. Can you give me the one walrus?
He did the same thing at Boise. He did. If you go back and watch him, that's why he has a 7th-round draft pick.
Yeah,
I think people end up forgetting that, but that's something that he did. I mean, you got to give the guy credit for lasting in the league this long and got paid a second time. But at the same time, I mean, just because you paid him doesn't mean that he's irreplaceable. And that's what we do see a lot of here in Chicago, like Phil has pointed out.
They play the guys they pay, Aaron, instead of the Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick, the winning coaches like Sean Payton. I know you brought up Mickey Loomis, but if you look at Sean Payton's career, he doesn't give a shit about what a contract is. He plays the best. That's the issue. So, to me, this football team has a chance to really be special. You're 2-0. I think Dan Kelly said it. You're 2-0. Hey, we're 2-0. Now you can build off this. So hopefully let me ask you this. I already know my answer, and all the 100 Crew fans, and I thank you for coming on tonight with us for the first time on our network, Aaron. Me and you started off together. Little backstory there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm stoked, man. I was, like I said, I was definitely shocked to see you guys go in a different direction. And then, like I said, I mean, dude, Zach's an awesome guy. Tri-City Sports is one of the OGs, man. When you're talking sports, like Tri-City Sports is one of the OGs. So I think this is an awesome thing. I'm really glad that you guys stuck to it. And I mean, obviously, dude, I've told you this countless times, man. You guys have built an awesome brand. And, especially within Chicago Bears Twitter and Chicago Bears fandom, there's room for so many different styles and flavors of everything that we do, right? And it all has to be the same thing. If it's all the same thing and everybody agrees, it's boring. There's no point in that. What's the point of having a football conversation? Let's just put it this way. I started Twitter a while ago, probably 8 years ago now, and that's kind of when we first met. The entire reason why I did that was because I was living in the hodunk town in the middle of California with no Bears fans around. I want to talk Bears football. I wouldn't. I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't clash it if we all agreed. I mean, we've clashed even when we were good the first time before things hit the fan, before we fixed everything. We even disagreed then. We've always disagreed. Everybody disagrees. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the point of being a football fan, is we all have our own vision in mind of, we all have the same goal, which is obviously the Bears winning the Super Bowl, and let's hope that happens. But we all have different visions of how to get there. And we all have different evaluations of players, and thank God for, NFL Game Pass and the All-22 footage and the different things that we're able to do, and the different, advanced metrics and stuff that are coming out to where everybody can evaluate differently, whether it's a draft class, anything. But it's awesome for me to see, especially kind of sitting back and And when seeing just everybody go kind of in different directions and doing their own things over the years, because I mean, when we started this off, man, it was me, you, Lance, Tyler, Jonathan Wood, Lauren Cox. I mean, Lauren's doing great. Jonathan Wood's doing awesome stuff in his free time when he's not being a professor. I mean, you guys have got your stuff. I got my stuff. Like, we're all doing our own thing. And
Crazy,
it's
man.
different from when we first started out. I love
it's like the Mike Holmgren coaching tree.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So I love it, man. I love to see that you guys are doing it. I love to see, you know, that you guys have such a good and passionate following. It's awesome, man. Like I said, it's so good to have different We don't have to agree, but we're all fans of the same team. And the reality of it is, you know, once this team wins the Super Bowl, we're all going to be celebrating the same damn way. You know, that's really what it comes down to.
Oh man, just imagine Bears Twitter if we win a Super Bowl. Imagine. Wow. Hey, Aaron, real quick before we let you go, I gotta ask you this because we're asking everybody: is the quarterback for the Chicago Bears on the roster right now that starts in 2021?
I still don't think so. I know you guys are going to disagree with that, but I don't. I
agree. I agree with it. I
haven't seen enough. I've seen steps from Trubisky, but I haven't seen nearly. Because the thing is you set a precedent, right? When you decline the fifth-year option again, to me it's a little different from the Kyle Fuller situation, because I think the difference between a cornerback and a quarterback, obviously positional value, everything is a very different thing. I think when you consciously decline a fifth-year option on a quarterback, especially, you know, who cares about the trade-up? The trade-up meant nothing. The trade-up was to secure their guy. You still took a quarterback at number 2 overall. It was still the top quarterback in that draft class. You know, when you do that and then you go off and you decline the fifth-year option, I think there's a lot to be proven, and it's just, I don't know. I think there's going to have to be a lot that changes, and I think it's going to involve a playoff run, and it's going to involve wins in the playoffs to show serious progress, and I just don't think we're nearly to that point to be able to say, yeah, they're going to change course and go the other way.
Look at you coming in. I'm on the other end. I have hope for Mitch because
I think we all do. I've put it out there, and I know
you say no. You and Aaron are no.
I think Aaron said exactly what I did, and I know I took some grief on it in the YouTube comments on a previous show. I believe in Mitch's talent, and he's got everything you want in a quarterback. I'm not sure Mitch is ever going to get there upstairs where we need him to be the consistent guy. That's always been my stance.
Look at this Sunday. I mean, the coach isn't helping him because, I mean, you just ran 25 yards or 24 yards on 1st and 25.
Yeah, 1st and 25.
Then he tries to run. Then he tries to run in tight. Like a coach in me is like, let me spread him out. We're gonna fucking run again. He brings it in tight, predictable. Let's take Montgomery out. Like, I just don't conceptualize. Then let's go empty on 4th down. Let's run action to the short side, a flood. These things, again, I'm not a Mitch apologist at all. That fucking throw where Massey luckily gets the bounce, that's part of football. I get it. But the reality is the decision in there to fucking throw that ball and the call in and above itself. It's like situational football, Aaron, I know we only have a couple more minutes with you, has escaped this coach. Does it drive you insane as much as it me, or that's just me and you know Phil goes crazy over these coaching decisions?
I think it definitely flashes in moments for sure. I mean, that was kind of one of my criticisms. You know, you're up 17 points on the Giants, and I don't think the Giants are as bad as some people think they are, but they're obviously not a very good football team. But when you're up 17 points on a team like that, you put them away. You don't come out and start doing different things than you did in the first half. You come out and you put them away, but that's something that we've consistently seen from Nagy, and even going in some of these situations like this with the play calling. I mean, look at that last drive, for example, and those last 3 plays where, I mean, it's just predictable, 2 predictable runs, followed by God knows what the hell they were trying to do with throwing the ball. I mean, Trubisky had absolutely nobody to go to. It's just, I mean, there's definitely areas where Matt Nagy, especially as the offensive play caller, where I just look at it, especially when you get late in the games or in certain situations where it just, man, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But I'll say this much. So I thought that decision by Trubisky on that catch by Massey was not good at all. But unfortunately, I haven't even got far enough to get into the all 22 from that play. It's like every single time I sit down to watch something else is going on. I think I've got through maybe like a quarter and a half of this week's game. So we'll see. I don't know. It's
go watch The Tape Never Lies, Aaron.
Yeah, see, I carving out time, man. And of course, as I'm sitting here doing this with you guys, I'm a White Sox fan, and I'm watching them kind of fade off in the distance right when the playoffs are about to start. So it's like I got baseball playoffs about to happen. The Bears are in full swing. Work's picking up. Things are getting crazy. The house is getting built. It's like, man, this is for not having much to do. I sure stay busy, and it's kind of mind blowing to me sometimes.
Welcome to real life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Being
First
an
happens
adult
fast.
has been vastly overrated. I will say that much.
It sure is.
Oh yeah, life can hit you fast, Aaron.
Yes, it can. Life can change in an instant too, man. I mean, going back, what was it? It was probably about a year and a half since we got on the phone and had like a 3-hour conversation. It's amazing how much has changed just in that small amount of time.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I can't thank you enough for coming on with us and giving us a little time and talk. We'll have to do it again when your camera's available.
Yeah, absolutely. And now that I know that this is what you guys are doing, then I can just grab my work. Like I got a work laptop that I can use. I usually leave it at work on the weekdays, so that way I don't have to worry about toting it back and forth. So yeah, next time we set something up, man, we'll make sure. I'll have to make sure don't look like an idiot, but we'll get one step at a time, right?
Well,
Gonna get a
idiot.
white or a gray Bears hat is what it looks like too, right?
Yeah, when we put this in edit, we're gonna put a picture of Tyler Bray up there, Aaron. That's gonna be your.
You might as well be Mike Glennon, because that's probably
yeah. There you go.
Will resemble. So
you got a few inches on him though. You're 6'8", right?
Yeah, I think
6'8".
Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. Doesn't gain weight either. I don't know what the deal is, but anytime you guys want me on, man, I'm always down to support, and always man, I love talking to you guys. It's always a blast. And like I said, I love what you guys are doing. Keep it up, and I know things are going to continue to grow. And whatever you guys need from me, just let me know.
Perfect. Thanks, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you so much, man. Go watch The Tape Never Lies. It'll be like the Cliff
Yeah,
Notes.
I'm gonna go scream in the pillow for a little bit because the White Sox just lost, and then I'll get around.
There you go.
So, all right,
Thank
guys.
you.
You guys have a good
Thank
night. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron. What a good dude.
Yeah.
Has a history with us. Bear Report. Follow him. It's been streaming underneath.
Bears Report, Phil. You remember when I was like 10 years old?
Go ahead.
I was
Tell
just
this story.
So I was, obviously, if everybody doesn't know, I grew up with Phil since I was 3 years old, my next door neighbor. It's why I'm a Bears fan. Hung out with him. He's like a brother to me. And I think it was probably, 92. I was 10 years old. And he's like, if you're going to know the Bears, you're going to be a fan of the Bears, you got to read the Bears Report. And so he would get the copy of the Bears Report, and then after he read it, he'd give it to me. He would quiz me on the roster. I remember I had to learn the whole roster. Remember that, Phil?
Yeah.
You got to learn the whole roster.
I made him learn the whole
I think it was 92.
roster.
I think Neil Anderson was the running back at the time.
Dude, I would
forget
just
a lot of
throw
them.
names like Jerry Fontenot.
Fontenot,
And he would have to say Texas A&M. And I'd be like,
John
all right.
Theory.
Remember John? He had a John Theory jersey.
You did?
Yes.
Yeah.
Claudio had a John Theory jersey.
I don't know
We
where.
bought it
From his brother or
No,
something?
we bought it. We used to have in New Haven, Connecticut. We had a starter outlet.
Yeah.
So we would go down there, and anything that had like a glitch, they would put on a rack, and you'd go in there and buy jerseys for like $11, and T-shirts, and college shirts, and sweatshirt. And if there's like sections of like bear shit, and I bought Claudio a John Theory jersey, and I would just yell Theory, Theory.
Conway was my guy.
Curtis Conway.
USC.
Love
USC.
Dude, we have a little breaking news down here on the bottom
do we
line.
have breaking news?
You
A
see
nerd
it
alert?
scrolling along the bottom line there?
Right. Let me.
Breaking news. The Tape Never Lies Network. Breaking news.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, it's only cars. Jesus.
What up?
I mean, with all that fanfare about the nerd alert, I mean, I don't know what else
Nerd
to be
alert.
expected.
You have to
Every week we get something new here. Now we got a nerd alert. Let me see if I could.
I'll take that all day.
Are
every
we
day.
in the right spots? No. One of these kids is doing his own thing. Let's see if I can get us.
Look at you.
Oh, we did it. There we go.
So
Nerd
fancy.
alert. Nerd alert. There we
So
are. Perfectly
fancy.
lined up. Keeping it 100 this week. Cars, were you able to watch The Tape Never Lies this week?
I believe I made a comment about saying, please don't ever put on film, follow the butt cheeks. That is not a phrase I ever want to hear again.
That was Phil's motto at Hofstra.
And then he called you a flutie tootie.
Yeah, which, I mean, it just got really weird really fast. So, but yeah, it was a very good breakdown. I appreciate kind of the back and forth of the good and the bad, right? You know, I think
that's the only way the Bears quarterbacks play.
Well, it's been our life as Bears fans, right?
Exactly.
Like, we all go through this phase where we're way too like, this is going to be the greatest Dick Duran team ever, and then we get stomped by the San Francisco 49ers in week 1, and we're all over. So, you know, we just got to keep it fair and balanced, like a news show, right? So
I even shouted you out.
I was very happy when you're like, see, the line wasn't as bad as Carr said. I was like, yeah, I said something right. Take that, Chubbs. That's right.
No, the Giants' defensive line, really impressive on tape. And when you look at some of those names, they were rookie, Hill.
That's the one thing Gettleman's known for. He's gonna build that line. I mean, he's gonna invest there. He's not afraid to. I mean, look, you can say what you want about drafting running backs high. The last 2 that he's drafted, they're pretty fucking good. I mean, I would have never, as good as they are, I still probably couldn't find myself pulling the trigger on it. I just don't believe in doing it up there. But at the same time, that you can't. Gettleman has shown that. I mean, when he was in Carolina, man, they had a lot of really good defensive lines.
He's stacked that. I mean, there was a lot of beef up there, right? Between Dalvin and Leonard Williams. I still can't get over the crazy looks that they would throw up, right? Like Leonard Williams over left tackle with 4 linebackers.
Right. Yes.
Like, I don't know what you're trying to do in that scenario other than be like, confuse someone into trying to run a gadget play. But yeah, they really held up pretty well at the point of attack all game long. And it was impressive that we stayed with the run, considering it was a lot like that Pittsburgh game. A lot of stuffs. And then, you just started to see chunks here, chunks there. So,
yeah, they're very underrated. So when you assess them and you see it on tape, then you realize these guys can play the game of football over there. But real quick, before we get into some segments and get the show moving, is there anything really that stood out to you? Like one critical point? I know you're very hard on Mitch, and you're the left side of Mitch. I'm more in a little over the line of middle. I think
he's putting you on the side of the where Mitch can't complete the passes. Cars on the left side.
No, like I think he's made some better reads. I don't want to take away from the positives of what he's done. Like the 2 touchdown plays that were scramble plays are probably 2 of just the best overall plays he's made as far as staying in the pocket. His feet stayed relatively calm. He wasn't doing the bouncing thing that he does, right? When he started to move, he kept his eyes downfield. He moved, like, those were definitely there. My take on him is just we know who he is, right? Like, he's a guy you win with if everything is right around him. I mean, like, that's I kind of say, like, that's your Kirk Cousins, that's your Jimmy Garoppolo's, that's your middle tier quarterback, and that's where the vast majority of guys are. He's just not that guy that consistently you're going to win because of. And it's you can maybe make a Super Bowl, right? But the question always becomes, the 49ers should have won last year, right?
Yeah.
But they needed Jimmy to make a throw, and when it came down to it, it just didn't happen. 2 years ago with Jared Goff, right? Like it's the best quarterback wins those, and if the goal is to be a consistent and perennial guy, like I
Cars, Phil and I were talking the other day, and I think you and I have probably bounced this off each other too. Do you notice when Mitch is running that do you feel like he's thinking too much while he's running? He doesn't, to me, it's coming across like he doesn't know if he's going to go out of bounds, if he's going to get down and try to save himself, or if he's going to try to fight forward for a few more yards. It seems like he's caught in between there, and we've heard the give him less to think about, just go out there and play. And Phil, you agreed with it that you could, if it literally comes across on the tape, that you can see him even overthinking when he's taking off and running.
There's a lot of indecision still, right? Like when he throws with conviction, which is something that Phil shows, right? Like when he knows where that ball is going and he's confident in where he's going, that's one quarterback, right? But like the whole reason RPOs have been a problem for us has been he's had a hard time diagnosing when to hand it off, when to keep it, when to throw, right? Like he gets caught in this middle thing where a lot of these things that they've done to try to simplify just haven't worked out for him. And so, we've done a complete 180. The scheme fits a lot better. The talent, like the thing is I always look back to, it's taken the Rams 2 years to change their scheme, right? Like they went from heavy all 11 to where they are now. You had to have the personnel. There's no way we could have made this change last year with the folks we were running, right? Like for us to go 12 last year, that meant Cornelius Lucas was your second tight end. So we needed that extra year. I think that we've seen it's a huge difference, but it's not making a difference on the scoreboard, right? And the Giants took a page out of Minnesota's book, right? Like put safety help deep, make Mitch be accurate underneath, right? Take away a lot of those deep passes and see what happens. And that has been cookie cutter for everybody. And until we can get around that, right, and start to execute, which is an entire offensive problem, right? This is not all on number 10, right, by any means.
You weren't going to say it, were you?
I stopped myself because
I heard you trying not to say it.
I definitely did. Well, no, I mean, like, I just didn't want to quote one of our friends at all.
Exactly. You didn't want to do this.
It's not all on Mitch.
No,
you didn't want to do that.
Absolutely that. It's not all on him.
Who was that?
I have no idea.
Never heard
it's the guy who ruined training camp for all of us. But it's how teams are going to defend him until he proves otherwise, right?
Yeah.
And we've made.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Is Mahomes' greatness a magnetic, negative to Mitch?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It totally does factor in. But I think to Shane's point too, though, I think that also factors in his own mind. And this is, I've taken two psychology classes in community college, right? So I'm by far the biggest expert there is on it.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with where you go to school.
But he definitely, I think part of why he struggles with this run thing is when he used to get the biggest props, it's how much of a threat he is with his feet.
Yeah.
And when you talk about the other guys, right, it's where they are with their arms. And I'd be lying if I didn't think that didn't play into some of his indecision. Like, man, I want to make this throw. So everybody talks about me as a quarterback and not a running quarterback. Absolutely.
Well, I see, like, the screenplay where he recognizes it's covered, he uses his brain and his athleticism, and he makes a great play out of shit. A terrible play call, predictable, and he overcomes that. Then he's running read game. JP Holtz thinks he's going to go outside. He doesn't read it right. The read was kind of choppy, so I didn't want to destroy him, or I just didn't want to get into the debate of whether it was a give or a pull because it was close.
Yeah, there's a
I
lot
would have
of-
pulled,
yeah.
and I think he would have ran. And then you had the shitty quarterback sweep call down in the red zone where Mitch doesn't play Mitch. He doesn't just plant his foot. But then again, that's your quarterback who's got his shoulder hurt twice, and you're calling that play. So you follow what I'm saying? So where are the training wheels coming off? And then we'll move on to the next segment.
Well, I think, though, some of those designed runs are there to remind him to use his feet. Like, there have been, especially week 1, where you're like, run, go. There's stuff to be made. There's plays to be made. There was I think it was the Detroit game, right, where if he took off and ran, he easily had a first down, but he went and made a throw instead. So I think some of that's to remind him there to use his feet. I definitely don't like that play call where it was at. But for me, it's kind of, you're being too hesitant, run the ball. And maybe this will get you back to that point of when it's there, take off and take it. 10 yards is 10 yards, whichever way you get it. It doesn't matter. And in this offense where we struggle to get chunk plays like that, go get it scrambling. It's fine. It'll open other things down the line. And I think he's just trying to do it. He wants to prove he can do it with his arm.
Well, real quick, what would your grade be of Mitch? If we went around the table, this past game, what was his grade?
Someone else go first. I don't. Chubbs is gonna.
Chubbs is on. Chubbs is DEFCON 5 right now.
Chubbs talks a lot, but he's never come on this show.
He's scared. He told me he's
must
scared of
be.
cars.
Come on the next BHL. Maybe.
Maybe this Sunday would be Chubb's first day. We're still giving away a T-shirt and a mask, or do we have someone who won that already?
No, we're still.
We're going to give that away. There it is. We're giving
the 100 crew is slacking in there.
Are they?
Yeah, you
So
got to
we got
step
some
up your
grades
game.
coming in for you. C plus by Christian Solid. A B by Midwest Monster. I don't see any. The chat, give me some of your grades. Shane, what is your grade for Mitch Trubisky?
I'm going to be a C plus guy.
C plus
for
All
Sunday.
right.
Yeah, it's just
Here's another.
It's,
James Boyle.
It's the
agrees
roller
with you.
coaster ride, and I know it's hard to decipher because it relies on so much. There's so many other factors that are going to contribute to his success, and I think Allen Robinson obviously had things on his mind. And I know a lot of people are not going to agree with this. I think I made the comment to both of you guys. I feel like we would have seen an amazing game. That fucking drop by Anthony Miller.
Oh my god!
I think it stayed in Mitch's head, and while that is horrible and it's a huge drop, a professional quarterback, you have to move on from that. You know what I mean? Just like if he goes down and throws a pick, at the goal line, you have to bounce back and come back and get 6 the next series. So, but I mean,
dude. I was gonna say. So you said
C plus.
C plus. Claudio.
C. I mean,
C.
Yeah, he had plays that he needed to make and he didn't make, and the drops and everything else. But those plays he needs to make. He needs to make better decisions, quicker decisions, and whether it's throw the ball away or run, he's got to do something. Okay, those things can't.
I give him a B minus.
We have Patrick Mills taking the Phil plan here.
What's that?
Grading by half.
I'm giving you my grade, B minus, and it really stretches to what Shane said. It's indicative of the game of football. I've coached it, I've played it, I've seen it in front of my eyes. When a playmaker makes a play, the energy and the confidence that's groomed and built and swells inside of a human being, especially someone who might lack confidence in, Cars' community college psych class.
That's exactly
those
right.
Guys have to make these fucking plays. And I think that will get them over the top. Now, you read about the Giants coach, and real quick, he's holding everybody accountable, making them fucking run, Changing a culture is one thing. Being a player's coach is one thing.
He threw Golden Tate right under the fucking bus, man.
Threw him right under the bus. Me and you, Shane, were live on BHL waiting for our coach to say, Miller's got to catch that fucking ball. The Ottochian way, I know in this game is the right way. I'm sorry.
And to hold myself accountable on that, Phil, I went back because there was a debate on what he said.
Yeah.
Remember we were debating that? He said that he dropped a dime right in there, and Anthony dropped it.
So that little shit who was responding to me saying, it's a dime that he's talking about.
You got to fix your audio. Your audio's screwed up. Yeah, your voice sounds
weird. My voice went down? I'm sorry. That was my nerd voice, not your voice. Cars. Look at this. I got it down.
This feels so Brady Bunch right now. It's exactly. Weird, I'm not going to lie.
Claudio's Alice.
But anyway, I promised these guys.
So Phil, I think C+ for me because I agree with the Anthony. I agree with the Anthony Miller.
Two drops by Miller.
But I will also raise you the Demetrius Harris as well, right?
That's what I wanted to talk about, but I know we want to move on. But let's talk about that though, because you brought it up
there. Yeah,
the deep ball air. This is a coached thing. I'm telling you now, like riding a bike, there's a release point, and for some reason, think about all these plays that you could think of in your brain. Despite the Tampa game, where it's the only time I'm seeing him seam or that deep over that Nagy loves to run, where you're running through the seam and then you got the guy coming all the way across and over, and Mitch is, remember he missed it and then later hit it. He missed it in the Vikings game. He missed it again in the Redskins game, and then he hits. He's always missing this ball at that right angle, like a golfer hitting a 9 onto the green.
Russell Wilson throw that ball to DK Metcalf. That's what Mitch has to do. He's got to get more air and have that ball come down.
That's got to be coached. Nagy's got to work with him. What did you think about him working with that quarterback coach over the weekend, even after the game or the past couple of days on his off day?
You know, I'm super glad for it, right? Like I know he's getting some of that stuff, but I think what Flippo is doing is focusing more on reads and progressions, right? Like that's what he's doing. So if he's going to go to Christensen to do the footwork, which I don't know if you guys saw, right? Orlovsky's like his footwork when he's coming out from under center and when he's in play action is good. When it is shotgun, it is god awful, right? And even on that throw, there was a bit of a pivot out, right? So like there's these little things that happen. And the only reason that I hammer on that play is, you know, that's a 13 look for us, right? That's 3 tight ends. That is, we've been trying to run out of it. We aren't well. A deep ball to a tight end in that scenario opens this offense back up a little bit more. And just as much as the others, like we need a big play to the tight end. That throw to Graham was great. If we do, if we hit a second one, other teams have to respect that a whole lot more and guard the whole field. And right now they're not. And it's killing me to watch that game over and over and just watch them be like, I dare you. I dare you.
Well, before we move on to, I think we're going to do bear up, bear down first tonight.
Sure.
Give me some keys, as in Cars keys, to the Atlanta Falcons game and how you feel as though the Bears need to attack this football team. I know Julio Jones is nursing a hamstring. So give us a little couple nuggets of Cars wisdom. Put the premium gas in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, if you watch the games, yes, they've given up a lot of points, but the defense isn't quite as bad as they may look, right? Like they forced, I can't remember the guy's name. It's the other linebacker that's not Deion Jones, forced 3 fumbles in that game against Dallas. Right, like they were creating things and being very effective in the run game. Right, Grady Jarrett is a fantastic defensive tackle. They're very good in the run game. So I think, you know, this is going to have to be a game where they make more plays through the air. This is going to have to be that game where Mitch goes and takes ownership of it, right? And it sounds like I think it's Ricardo Allen did not practice. So Atlanta that likes to do a lot of 3 safety looks, right? They're probably going to have to go back to more 3 linebacker looks because they're not going to have him probably this week. So this is going to have to be that game that happens. That's probably first and foremost. Secondly, I'm probably way more scared right now of Calvin Ridley than I am Julio, and that's in part because of Julio's injury. Yeah. Like if you watch some of the joystick cuts that Calvin's been making the last few weeks, he's caught 16 balls. 4 of them have gone for touchdowns. Yeah. Like that guy is just an absolute playmaker. And when you look, they started to hit Hayden Hurst last week. They hit Julio. They hit Gage. They've got a lot of weapons, but Ridley's going to be the one that right now is going to be that guy that kind of shows the most consistently. So you're going to have Jalen's going to have probably a rough matchup that he's going to have to win way more than they lose, and that's going to become back to the pass rush, right? I mean, Matt Ryan has had so much time this year. Dallas does not have a bad pass rush at all. And those guys stymied them pretty well. I think it helps that obviously the right tackle is out. We are catching tremendous luck because it was McGarry didn't practice. Fowler didn't practice. McKinley didn't practice. 2 of their safeties didn't practice, right? They've got injuries everywhere. But if they don't force the issue, Ryan's going to throw for 400 yards on us. And that's really going to be you give him time. I don't care how good your corners are. One of those guys is going to eat you up. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow. Well, hopefully the Chicago Bears, I've loved what I've seen from the rookie Jalen Johnson.
Absolutely.
I have full confidence in him and Fuller. In fact, I like that matchup for us as we move towards the Atlanta Falcons and attacking them and playing this weekend.
It's the Ridley Bowl. Our guy will be on the
hopefully.
bench.
I can't believe he's still on the bench. I don't know. I don't know.
You have an embarrassment of riches of offensive playmakers, Phil.
Well, Javon Wims has really stepped up. Credit to Claudio.
Really
Claudio's boy.
One of the best blocks that I've seen from a wide receiver in a long time.
Well, you saw 2 of the best blocks.
Saw him flexing after it.
Oh, yeah.
He was pumped up.
And I would say Darnell Mooney.
Yeah.
His block on that fucking Bob play.
Yep.
I mean, when you outshine your fullback who's here to play fullback, I mean, Ryan
at
Pace,
160 pounds on top of that.
I said 180 on the tape. Never.
I think you're being very generous.
But that kid squared up, drove, and turned him out. I mean, offensive linemen on this team could take some notes at how Mooney.
I had a guy on Twitter ask for a comp, and I called him a more physical. I know it sounds funny with a guy that small, but I do see it. I called him a more physical Deshaun Jackson because he'll go over the middle, and he's not afraid. He's not afraid to get folded in half. You can see it. You could go back to Tulane and watch that. He's not afraid of contact, and that guy is. I don't think he has the elite top end blinding speed that Deshaun Jackson does, just straight line downfield. I mean, he's fast, but I think Deshaun Jackson is next level on that. But that would be my comp. I think you said Johnny Knox, right?
Yeah, he reminds me so much of Johnny Knox, right?
Yeah.
Like he's really smooth in his cuts, right? Like you watch him in, what was Knox, like University of North Texas or something like that, right?
No,
where you're
Texas A&M Kingsville. Right?
That's right.
Is that what it was? Yeah, because he was from. It
wasn't Kingsville. Was it? It was the same school as Danielle Manning. Manning.
Oh,
what the hell was the name of that school?
But he was like he's just so smooth in his cuts, right? There's nothing about him that looks labored, right? He's just he's so good.
It's confidence in his routes.
Oh, it's incredible. But Shane, let's be real. My 6-year-old is tougher than Deshaun Jackson. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
This is not anything new. But this guy will sit down and run.
Abilene Christian.
Abilene Christian. I can't believe no one in the chat got that.
Well,
if someone got
remember
that
Danielle Manning draft?
Frank.
So Frank,
Maybe we give Frank.
Frank just won himself.
There you go.
Put that up there.
Wait, Cyro beat him.
Cyro
Did he?
was the
Sorry,
first
Frank.
one.
Sorry, Frank.
With a question mark, but he got it.
Is that
you guys are going to
confidence
ignore
taken away?
Sandlin? Oh my God, you guys.
Oh, Chris Sandlin can't win it because he's on the social media team.
Yeah, I just want you to know,
He's
Sandlin,
got all that.
I have your back in this one, and it's obvious that Shane
All right,
and Phil
well,
don't.
no.
Go ahead, Shane.
Claudio, you got to choose between these two. Who's winning the prize?
I gotta choose. Well, I mean, listen, I'm gonna go with my boy Sandlin. He was the first one to put it out there, and hey,
All right, so we screwed
gotta-
over both the listeners, and we're trotting the company line.
I'm going to overrule Claudio.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know why you put it on me.
I think you got to give
guys
it
make
to
the decision.
Cyro, even though he has a question mark. Sorry, Frank.
He had it.
He did have it first, even though you did have it first. I'll never hear the end of this.
We'll never hear the end of anything.
You'll have
It's
plenty
fine.
of swag. So Cyro,
Is it
can you
Ciro
DM Zero?
But yeah, head over right here. If you're reading the ticker here, head over to shytownclothing.com and you can pick out any T-shirt that they have in stock.
Yep.
And you will also get a free Chicago Bears mask with that. Once you do that, hopefully, are you on Twitter? Just throw that in the comments. If you are, you can make sure you're following me on Twitter and send me all your info, and I'll set everything up for you so you can get your swag.
Wait. Alex Carson had Christian Albaline.
Can this get more confusing?
No. Well,
no, we're going with Cyro because Cyro
he's
got it
dyslexic
right.
because that's absolutely backwards.
Don't pick on the disabilities, Shane.
I'm not. That's why I was trying to put it on Claudio.
So anyway, Cyro, DM Shane on Twitter or Facebook, or send us a message there and we'll follow you and we'll get you the information. Pick out a t-shirt and the Bears mask. Now, guys, every week after every Bears game, we go live on BHL. It's the best post-game show on the Chicago Bears on the planet. I even have players writing me and telling me and Hall of Fame football writers. So check that out every Sunday, Bears Hour Live, right here on the Tape Never Lies Network if you're on the YouTube channel.
And you have a chance to come on.
You can have every week. You can come on and join us. We bring two people on this past week.
If you want to come on, I think an extra thing to do is show your dig, show your man cave, your bear, your bear down cave. It'd be cool to see what you got going on.
And Alex Carson, just so you know, it's Bears Hour not live, not Hours Live Bears. So when you're listening.
But also,
so you know.
every week,
Always
Wednesday,
good to build the fans up. Yeah. Good to
every
build the fans
Wednesday, right here on Keepin It 100, sponsored by none other than Shy City Sports. Shy City Sports.
Who is that lovely lady?
I don't know. I think it's your wife.
Play it again, Phil.
This is Shane's wife and Shy City Sports.
I love that lady.
So Shy
puts up
City
with a
Sports,
lot, yeah.
Keeping It 100 every Wednesday night. I see you all live in the chat. Be involved here. This next segment, every week, we do some segments I know people are excited about. This segment, though, we call Bear Up, Bear Down. And that, to explain to the new listener, bear down, you always say Chicago Bears, but in this game, we're dyslexic, like your boy over there. Bear down is the bad player of the game. Bear up is the good player. This week, there's a lot to choose from. We go the round robin table. Tonight, we're going to start with Shane, the smartest man Marsaw, a.k.a. Moneybags, and we are going to play this game like this.
Phil Ottochian, Shayne Marsaw, the Tape Never Lies Network.
A bear up, A bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. A bear up, bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. A bear up, a bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. A bear up, a bear down. It's Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man around. A bear up. This week, Draft Dr. Phil and Shayne Marsaw, the smartest man. Bear ups and bear downs of the week.
There you go. Some people are pissed that there's no rap part, Shayne. I don't know. We have to bring the rap back.
Yeah,
Make it a little bit longer later.
Yeah,
but anyway.
We'll work on it. Gotta fix that audio.
We always start with the bear down. Shayne, who's your bear down this week?
Easy for me. I needed to see this guy build off of week 1 where he showed out and made one of the biggest plays of the game, number 17, Anthony Miller. He's a guy that when things are going well, he's going to let you know on the field. And I haven't heard too much from Anthony. You know, you can't, listen, I understand things happen. You cannot drop balls like that when you have Mitch back there placing it perfectly. I mean, that was such a momentum shift. I mean, that was one of those plays where you're up out of your seat, you're like, oh fuck, that's a beautiful ball, then boom. And then you just live in that Bears fan life, and then you're like, oh fuck, now he's gonna miss, they're gonna have a turnover, they're gonna miss a field goal, whatever. And then on the other one that you're talking about on the sideline, Phil, I know Claudio talked, put that at first, he put it on Mitch, and then when you see the replay, yeah, it wasn't the perfect fucking ball, but it still could have been caught fairly easy. I mean, we've seen Anthony Miller make more difficult catches. I agree. I think he should have had that
catch the week before.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
To win the game.
If you want him to take that next jump, that leap, when you're talking about the inconsistency with your quarterback and with your head coach and with somebody like Tariq Cohen and all of these guys, Anthony Miller's got to be put right in that same category. You can't go out there and ball out in Detroit and then come back against a team that's I mean, I think Detroit is better than the Giants, but I don't know, man. You can't have these peaks and valleys. There's got to be some sort of consistency there, because when he's on, he's a difference maker. And what makes it sting so much with him is if you look back to the end of the season, we talked about this before, he was stringing together some really consistent, solid football games before he hurt his shoulder. And then, it translated into week 1 last week, and week 2 was a stinker. So I hope he's a guy that's motivated inside in this controlled environment. It's not going to rain in Atlanta, Georgie. So...
how will the field conditions be on Sunday? That'll be something to watch.
Claudio,
your bear down. My bear down.
So I'm gonna try to make it quick. We're gonna streamline. So Chubbs is gonna be mad, I think, maybe, but Allen Robinson for this.
He's always mad. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he made some great catches, no doubt about it. But you want an extension. You want to get paid. You got to block. You got to make the catches you got to make. And, I mean, I don't put the interception on him. I mean, I think that was a great play by the defender, too, if it was inbounds. But, I'm going to go with Allen Robinson.
Look at you. Allen Robinson, your bear. You got to say it. Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson is my bear down for the Giants game.
There you go. For the people listening on the podcast version, they need to know. Cars, you are next on the bear down.
It continues for me to be Mr. Danny Trevathan. I think it's especially bad because of the contract at hand. I'd hoped that we would have seen more rust knocked off. It just doesn't look like it's there. And it's a simple one for me.
Really good. I need you to say it though.
Bear down.
Oh, Maron. You're supposed to be the nerd. Danny Trevathan.
Who is your bear down?
Sorry. Danny
Trevathan Danny is my down bear, Alex Carson.
Number 95, Trevathan Danny is my bear down player.
There you go. My bear down could be a layup. Should I do the proverbial draft rankings?
Switch it up. We know who you're going to go with.
So then I'm going to go, obviously everyone knows I probably would have went with the Walrus. But I'm going to go with JP Holtz. You got one job to do. You're on this roster to go in there and be a filthy animal at the fullback position. There's guys on the street that are working at Walmart that would love to have that position to go in there and sacrifice themselves for the Chicago Bears.
Like Mike Burton. Jersey. Yeah, absolutely.
No, we don't want him back. JP Holtz on tape. The last 2 weeks, obviously, if you've watched the tape, never lies. If you haven't, go over to the YouTube channel. Tonight we're going to share a little bit of it. I don't even know where we're going to share it. I'm just going to put it up and share a little bit of it. But I wish I thought of this earlier. I should have had the JP Holtz play lined up. Because when you have a 160-pound wide receiver out physicaling you at your position, we have issues there. And hopefully he can wake up the Holtz like fucking Lou Holtz, wake up the echoes, da, 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 da. Well, JP needs to do that. So JP Holtz is my bear down. So I'm going to play a little bit of the song again with reverb. So fuck you and that whoever that fucker was talking too much reverb. What is this guy? Who is this? Who was that?
Don't even worry about it. Just hit it.
Oh my God. It gets me fired up. Well, there you go. Bear up, bear down. I wanted to give a little beat. I'm a music guy. I need that. I'm going to start off. We go back, snaking back like you're in a fantasy football draft with Adam Rank. I'm going to go backwards. My bear up, clearly, is the offensive identity out of Iowa State, the Cyclone himself.
Marcus Pfizer. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Number 4 overall pick. That's right. Let's do it.
Phil's like, who the fuck is that?
I have no idea who that is. But David Montgomery, right before our eyes, he's becoming exactly what I thought he was. Just like the famous words from Denny Green. David Montgomery is who I thought he was. And it's a filthy animal. And to watch his balance, his understanding, there's unique quality about big-time backs. And it's called instinctiveness coupled with toughness. If you have those two things, the greatest to ever do it does, Walter Payton, then you're cooking with gas. So my bear up, David Montgomery. Cars.
Boy, it's tough. So I'm going to do a Phil 1A, 1B. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, for me, as much as there's someone on the offensive side I want to pick up, for me, the bear up is Deion Bush. That turnover, making that play, that's kind of been what we needed out of him. I talked a little bit about Atlanta doing 3 safety looks. He did pretty well overall in my book last week. So him finally, we were screaming for where's a turnover? We need a turnover. That stood out to me. I wish he would have paid a little bit more attention and housed it like he could have. But Deion Bush is my bear up of the week.
Wow, I never thought those words would come out of anybody's mouth on this panel.
I mean, I'm going to go bathe after this, but yeah, it definitely feels good to say.
Bush Deion is your bear up.
Yes, absolutely.
Wash your bush, please. Wash your bush. Claudio.
So I'm glad you didn't go offense because I think you would have went with my guy. Mo Mooney. This kid impressed me even more in the second game. His route running, his blocking.
Mo Mooney.
Everything. Yeah. Catch the ball. So, because honestly, I think if that throw is to Mooney and not Miller, I have confidence Mooney makes that catch.
Yep.
Oh, he's throwing it down.
If I seen one preseason game of this kid and saw how he was and his confidence, my bold prediction about Wims being number 2, no, this kid is going to be our number 2, no doubt about it. This kid is impressive. So Mo Mooney is my bear up.
Give me a little Mo Mooney,
Mo Mooney.
There you go. I need that for the promo this week. Thank you. Shane, so say it. We got to teach Cars and Claudia.
I said it before, but Darnell Mooney is my bear up.
He almost said it.
We've got
Mooney
15 more weeks to get this right. Don't worry, we'll get there.
He's almost there, folks. Shane Marsaw, the smartest man.
I'm probably going to surprise some people here because I'm going to stay on the defensive side of the ball, but I'm going number 94, Robert Quinn. I saw out of him in the limited snaps that he got. I saw exactly what I wanted to fucking see. I mean, he came off the edge, and I mean, he's a guy that's paid to fucking eat off of Khalil Mack getting raped. I mean, there's no other way to put it. That's what it is on the other side. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but Robert Quinn,
overrated, right?
Yeah, exactly. Imagine saying that. Holy shit.
I flipped out on it.
When Phil, how ridiculous were you when you saw him club away Thomas's arms on that first play? Like, that was a move before he got engaged that we haven't seen out of Leonard Floyd ever. That was,
oh my God.
He had that other one and you got to give Daniel Jones props, man, on that one. That was an amazing play by Daniel Jones because I'm like, oh, here's number 2, and I'm like, oh, no fucking way. And of course, he popped it for a pretty good gain on that one too.
His turnover is the deciding points in the game.
Absolutely.
The reality of him is exactly what I said, and to Carr's point, that's what you need opposite Mac, because Mac is so filthy, and Shane could attest to this. Listen, I had a family member die. I had a good friend die this week. It's been a very tough week. I cut the tape, and I promised that I would do something, and I'm going to try to do it. And I said to Shane, well before anything, I said, Shane, I was going to give the choice to the 100 crew of what defensive player should I isolate on for another Tape Never Lies to be released Saturday. And I said, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to do it on Mac because I'm so fucking tired of these other networks and guys taking off their shirts and walking around like they're big fucking tough guys thinking they know football when they don't. Khalil Mack is everything you ever want. It's like, what is it, American Express or is it Visa? Everywhere you want to be. Khalil Mack is the definition of what it is you want your defensive football player to be. And Robert Quinn is the perfect offset to play off him because he can win one-on-one with bend, intelligence, football instincts, motor, effort, and that's his first game. His first fucking play.
You're putting both of these guys on a fucking fast track, too.
Oh, my God.
Down in Atlanta with, solid footing everywhere.
God, I
and
can't wait.
Atlanta was in the sweepstakes to sign him.
That was where they thought he was going.
Yeah, they thought he was going, so there might be a little bit of extra motivation there. I mean, he got paid in Chicago, but he might want to show them, this is what you're missing out on. And I mean, he is going to... I saw everything that I want to see in a Robin to Khalil Mack's Batman, to use a phrase that we've been using before. But that's probably my number one thing other than wanting to see, offensive line and how Mitch ascends or whatever happens there is watching 94 and 52 come off those edges down in Atlanta.
I mean, he did that in 25 snaps, right? Like, he played 25 snaps, and you're talking about 2 hardcore plays that stood out, and he had a handful of others where he was generating pressure. Like, it was constant coming from the other side.
The defensive line was disrupted, and it was a credit to Jones, but people don't get it. It's like, You guys get it. I think our fans, 100 crew, 193 strong right now, they get it.
Mm-hmm.
They the interior of the game and everything that goes involved. It's unbelievable, the strategy and the war that's being waged there and how dominant. We're talking quick game every down to try to keep Khalil Mack at bay and Akeem Hicks and the defense.
You heard him.
You
heard Max say it in his mic'd up, right? Like he's getting that ball out quick. He's
Yep.
getting that ball out.
It's gonna be a long day for you, son.
It's gonna be a long day for you, son. I mean,
I love that.
I had no idea that was coming out. Me and Shane talk every day, every fucking day. In fact, if I don't hear from him, I check.
It's almost. I was telling Cars last night when we were talking about it. It was almost eerie watching it because the zero crowd noise because they didn't have in the edited crowd noise or anything like that. You're like, it had that like preseason scrimmage.
Did they mute him when he made the sack? Because there has to be like, yeah, motherfucker, or some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like
when he
can
was
you
getting
just
held.
play it? Yeah.
When he was getting held by the two tight ends in the chokehold, like he's like, these motherfuckers, come on, like that's getting.
I can't wait to do this now.
So Phil,
yes.
Robert Quinn,
Yes.
is my bear up.
There you go. We never have a script, but we're moving on. That is Bear Up, Bear Down, brought to you by Gerardo's Modern Barbershop in New Haven, Connecticut. We have a sponsor for Bear Up and Bear Down. If you want to sponsor any of our segments, please reach out to me or Shane and let us know that you want to sponsor. We'll put you on here. We love that kind of stuff. We have a lot of fun. Anyway, Shane, what are we doing next? Are we doing tweets? Are we going to go to the famous Claudio?
We'll make them wait for that comedy gold.
Okay.
So
we're gonna do
tweets
tweets of the week.
The tweets of the week, Phil.
Listen,
and you remember there's some in.
I gotta figure all this shit out and try to share this screen and do my poems. This is the hardest part in being a talent. Maybe we can, if you're a producer or want to be a producer on the show, you reach out to me and DM me if you have some experience in that. I'm looking for some assistant to come and we'll talk privately. So I'm saying that live on the air, Shane. You didn't even know I was going to say that, but that's what I'm going to say. Now.
Claudio just lost his job.
Oh, man.
No, Claudio. This is for other
we had
stuff
a good run.
More.
Let's do that Sarah McLaughlin song, Eyes of the Angels, and play the best hits clip and just...
Listen, true story, Cars. Sunday, I'm doing my rant, and I hear the music. I'm thinking the music is there, and I'm playing off the power in it. When I listen to the show back, there's no music. So Shane says what?
Well, this motherfucker's pissed. He fucking shut the music off, everything.
True story. And I'm playing off the music, hitting these spots. You know me and music. Then I listen. I'm like, what the fuck? There's no music.
He's like, bro, I was hitting that shit. And he's like, I listened back to it. There's no fucking music. I'm like, no, there was no music at all.
So when you share, it goes like that. Did it knock everybody over? Yeah. I hate that. Why does that? We got to talk to these people. Because I don't want people to see the share. It's like you can't hide it, even if I have you 4 up. It bothers me. Anyway.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. So every week, for those of you new listeners, viewers, watching here on the live stream on the Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, at Shy City Sports, or at the Tape Never Lies Network, every week, Shane goes out into the Twitter sphere and finds the dumbest tweets of the week. But in tradition, he also finds positive tweets. So this is... Where is it?
Dumbest tweets of the week.
Oh, yeah. Every week we do this. Can you hear it?
Yeah, I got you.
Can you hear the music? Okay. I'm going to check. I'm practicing. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Please don't use any of the rhymes that we used in the pregame show, yeah. Please. Yeah.
He's the smartest man. He's the guy who invented the spring break t-shirt. Hey, show us your tits. We're no longer gonna do the tape never lies. We're only gonna study the walrus. He's the smartest man. And this is his dumbest tweet of the week.
There you go.
Let me try to find where you're dumb. Are we going with the spoken word one? The tweet, not the video, right?
No, the tweet. The video for the tweets of the week. You're right.
Thank you. Okay. Here it is, Shane.
Yeah, this isn't really Bears related, but I saw this. I'm like, Jesus, how can it not win? Chargers team doctor accidentally punctured his own quarterback, Tyrod Taylor's lung just before kickoff Sunday while trying to administer a pain-killing injection to the quarterback's cracked ribs, league and team sources told ESPN. So, yeah, you can pop that down if you want there, Phil. But, Jesus, he was out there in warm-ups, and they showed him go over to the sideline, and he's, like, grabbing his chest, and they actually had to take him to the hospital for that. And I'm like, holy shit. They're coming out and really covering for the team doctor, and Anthony Lynn said that it was, just a mistake, and that Tyrod's not mad at all. But holy shit, I said that's just. Right. I'm not sure.
Did you see some of the other stuff the doctor's done?
Yeah, I know.
He's been rated by the DEA for writing himself 108 prescriptions.
Yeah.
He lost his surgery license in 2013.
This guy's employed by the
Chargers. He's had multiple malpractice lawsuits for multiple career-ending misdiagnoses. So, this is already a guy that should be nowhere.
Hold on. I said,
Claudio.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Holy shit, something ain't right.
I like big butts.
Oh, sorry. That was Claudia's next segment.
Oh, jeez.
I guess the fucking doctor.
Is that Claudio's long jump, Phil? Nobody knows what we're talking about.
Oh, jeez. That's an inside joke.
But that's, the scary part of all that is it just shows you, and I mean, we've seen some behind the scenes things that go on in locker rooms and with professional sports, and I've had some connections to Syracuse University and some stories that would blow your fucking mind. And I mean, you think about what's going on in some of these NFL locker rooms to get these guys to play, and maybe with some of them, I'm not saying that all doctors are doing it, but I mean, not only, I mean, this isn't the fucking long snapper we're talking about. It's the starting fucking quarterback.
And it's a professional franchise.
Yeah.
Imagine reading that resume. Did they
it's the Chargers.
investigate?
Yeah,
the Chargers are not really a professional fan. All 7 of their fans have been protesting all week out in front.
The word that comes to my mind this season is regression.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
I mean, to the Chargers' credit, Herbert went out there and fucking balled out. Had a couple throws that I'm sure that he would like to come back, and then his fucking head coach really ran him over with a fucking bus, essentially.
Focus, Claudio. We got some good comments in there. Focus. Yeah. I'm looking for a producer.
Saying that when Tyrod comes back healthy, he's going to be the starting quarterback, but that might be a little bit longer than anyone was expecting now, with the collapsed lung because of the fucking doctor. So that's crazy. That's some next level fucking craziness.
That is nuts.
So Phil, as we like to say, that is my dumbest tweet of the week.
Amazing job as always. Now I gotta set up the next one. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Did you know you can take all that reverb out in post? Yeah.
He's the smartest man. I bet you didn't know he almost played Chunk in Goonies. How about a little more plays, Mr. Nagy? To one Darnell Mooney. He's the smartest man, and this is his best tweet of the week.
It's going to be Mr. Mac. Bring that one up first.
Okay, here we go. Assistant
video
producer's
tweet of the
assigned.
week.
Video tweet of the week.
And I don't mean this in any sort of a negative way, but this is the life of Khalil Mack. This is the life of Khalil Mack. This is what happens to him on Sundays. Giants put 2 tight ends on him. They grab him. They choke him. This is...
That's legal, according to sources.
I mean, even Khalil Mack, who never complains about nothing, he's like, what? Are you serious? Come on, man. Stop that.
Cut it out.
That's hard.
Look at
Jesus,
that.
Claudio, that should have been your cut it out.
I know, Claude.
I'm on the,
man.
Oh, I thought I was muted. I was gonna say I was gonna do this, but it's all right.
Why
How
didn't
the
you
fuck?
throw it in there? I mean,
You
ahead.
see all these sports and you're talking about preferential treatment to these top players. Why not our guy? I mean, that is so blatant and so obvious. How is he not getting a call there? I mean, holy
it
shit.
starts with hands to the face. It
Yeah.
starts there.
And
oh my
just go back and watch that play when you're going to be dumb enough to come in and say, oh, Khalil Mack's not holding up his end of the bargain. I mean, imagine that. Look at, there's 2 fucking guys on it, and he's still making fucking progress getting towards the quarterback by the fucking way.
Evan Ingram is literally like using his weight to try to pull him away, and he's still getting there. Like, yeah, that's a pretty interesting one.
Yeah,
I know my eyes are different. Like when Claudio, Shane, and I have never
You're
been
always
able.
looking up.
Well played. Well played. I am. And I'm okay with that. But I see the game differently. So Claudio can attest to it, and our boy Jim Larison, and anyone that's watched the game with me. I just see this every Sunday. And it's so fucking unfortunate that to what Shane is talking about is not happening and occur. Why not our guy? Why not start throwing some flags and let this game be played
as a head
fairly?
coach or a defensive coordinator,
totally
I'm
agree.
out there on fucking Front Street campaigning.
Yeah.
I mean, like, be like, you guys see this?
It's gotta
It's
stop.
happening week after week after week after week. It just shows you how special of a talent this guy is. But oh my god, I mean, how?
Yeah.
There's really no words for that not being a penalty. And it's not just once or twice a game. It's multiple times. I mean, Phil, when you do your breakdown of it, you're going to have to, maybe do a breakdown per quarter.
It's going to be a Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah, exactly.
When he does it. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, this week we're going to try to do something special for our 100 crew. And it's not 100%. I'm going to try to get my dad on Saturday and experiment with him coming on and talking a little bit about Khalil Mack and going through it together so we can all see it. So that's a little tease. Hopefully, with everything we got going on, we're going to try to do it and get it out there, and we'll see. But, Shane.
That was one of my tweets of the week, Phil. We have one more video tweet of the week.
Video! We're on video, so those of you listening to the podcast, basically what we just saw was Brian Baldinger cracking up at the shitheads on Twitter who think that Khalil Mack's overrated. That's basically
It's 2-0, and that's good. Big comeback win against Detroit, win against the Giants. That's what the Giants play. They play this diamond look. 5-man front, Blake Martinez at middle linebacker. Bears know all about Blake Martinez. This is a play-action pass. And Mitch is going to get sacked on the play. But if you watch this right here, there's Darnell Mooney, the 5th-round pick of Chicago, and Allen Robinson come into your picture. And Mitch is ready to throw. But neither receiver is looking at him. And I go, what kind of offense is this? I mean, nobody's even looking at the ball, and Mitch gets sacked. And I go, that doesn't look right. So Kyler Fackrell, another guy that the Bears know real well from Green Bay, take him down. And then I watch this play and I go, what is Mitch doing? Like, I don't want to rip him. I want to support him. He had a great second half comeback last week. But here it is. Here's Mooney and here's Allen Robinson. You're right. Nobody's looking for the ball. But you can look at this and you go, okay, you're in the pocket, play action. All right, looking at the two verticals, nothing there. Doubling Robinson, smart move. But look at Tariq Cohen here. Like, why wouldn't you just, okay, got back, max protection, right? 8-man protection, looks good. Just throw it to Cohen. Like, there he is. He's actually jumping up and down for the ball right there. Like, he's going to run a long ways. Like, just don't make it harder than it has to be. 1, 2, 3. I mean, there it is. It's just, like, when he comes to the sideline and Matt sits down with them and DiFilippo talks to him and all this stuff, just take the check down. It shouldn't be that hard. I mean, it's a good play. It's got a safety valve out there. Just throw it to the safety valve. I don't want to kill Mitch. I really don't. But, like, just run the offense. Come on. That shouldn't be a sack. Just throw it out there to Tariq Cohen.
That.
It's what it is. I mean, I agree with what Baldy is saying there. I saw Chubb's comment that it's hard to get to your fourth read when you're sacked in 2 seconds, but this is professional football. You see guys do it all the time.
I put that play.
And he did it last week against Detroit.
The tape never lies this week, and I said, listen, I don't go on Twitter. I didn't see that, but I said, you gotta snap your head and go to the outlet route. Speaking of the tape never lies, do we have another dumbest tweet? Because I'll just play off it.
No, those were that's my final tweet of the week. But what I wanted to say is this is what is important about watching these different angles, like Baldy is pointing out, because he initially starts out, he's like, what kind of an offense is this? Look at Allen Robinson's not looking at the not looking for the ball. Darnell Mooney's calling him out. You switch it around, you get the whole picture, and then you see it, and you see Tariq Cohen out there as the safety valve. And say what you want, and like I said, Mitch has the ability to be a great quarterback and to make plays. Missing your safety valve on a play like that with a guy like Tariq Cohen that can get downfield and make plays on his own with one guy back there deep, you don't know what's going to happen. But it's all about making things easy, and this is the part of the processing that scares me with Mitch. You have something right there at your disposal, and it goes back, and I know it goes back to the great catch that he made, that Allen Robinson made last week in Detroit, and having Jimmy Graham right there for the dump off. It's a much easier play. I'm not gonna kill him because they completed the pass, but it's taking these easy throws that can gain you big plays when they're wide open like that. I mean, in this, Cars, you can speak on this. Phil, you can too. This isn't something that's brand new, guys. This isn't just...
He made the same read, though, last week in Detroit, where he actually made the dump off to Cohen, right? Like, he saw it early, the things weren't coming open, and so he dumped it. It was a play, Phil, you and I texted briefly back and forth about. Right. It's that consistency week in, week out of doing it. That's what it is. I kind of said before, like, you could show him the same defense 4 times in a row, and he's going to make 4 different reads, and it's not the same. That's just the feel.
Chubbs, real quick, I'll just address this because we're not covering the Houston Texans. Nobody here said that Mitch is the only quarterback in the NFL that's making this mistake. Nobody is saying that. This is a Chicago Bears-driven show. That's why we're talking about Mitch. We'll praise him when he needs to be praised, and we're going to hold him accountable when he needs to be held accountable. You can't watch this play and defend Mitch Trubisky on it. You can't.
All you have to do is go to the tape never lies. You see the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's no manipulation of truth. I keep it 100 there. Those of you that go there, the thousands of people, views, we so appreciate it. And please, if you're new or a new listener, go over to TTNL, the Tape Never Lies Network. Check out this. Now, this is the first time ever, Shane, that we're going to do the Tape Never Lies on the air, live. And I just turned it on. I have no idea. I know this is the toss play. Let's watch a little bit.
A goddamn animal. And it's got this kind of elusiveness, that stutter.
God, look at Leno. So
Otherwise,
sexy.
he's dead to
so
rights
sexy falling
because
down.
a guy can't block. Speaking of block,
touchdown.
Watch Jimmy Graham's block on this play all the way to the end zone, knocking Giants down in the end zone. A great heads-up play by Mitch. You want to tack downfield, square those shoulders, threaten that defender, then drop it down. And look at the awareness and the elusiveness of David Montgomery. A lot of people hate. There's Jimmy. Just knock him down. A lot of people hated on me. It was my number one running back.
I think the
coming
Quinn
out of the
play is
draft
next.
for a reason.
So let's just
this is what he could
watch the
do
Quinn
all
play.
game long. This guy's becoming the best weapon in your offense. That's right. A lot of talk about Allen Robinson, but I see a lot of walking by Allen Robinson in this game. Needs to be better.
Here it
David
is.
Montgomery, though, is stepping up to the challenge. Speaking of stepping up to the challenge, how about
that
Robert
club is just
Quinn?
something else. I could watch that
Again,
play
I did
30
a whole
times
Tape
and
Never
never
Lies
tired of
on
it.
Robert Quinn, and
Oh,
this
they were
is what
deleted,
I kept
though.
seeing. Watch him engage.
Let it go.
He
Let it
pats
go.
hands down. He rips under
hard.
and then has that elastic bend, like he's
Look at this
Elastic
guy.
Man, and strips the football and forces a turnover. And then his partner in crime, Batman over there, recovers it. Khalil Mack.
One
It's
more play?
amazing, these two.
All right.
Dynamic duo out there.
Cohen,
Here we
see,
go.
should have hit it to the left.
They have this block
behind
right. I think
Kmet.
Tariq, if he
I do
had
love the
his
way that
head
Komet has
right, he
been
would've
blocking,
cut
though.
left.
That he has been
But I want you
really
to see
pleasant.
how
Surprised.
these
He's
guys
not
are
afraid.
coming off
Look
the
at
ball,
him.
moving
No.
the line of scrimmage, and then
Meanwhile,
this is what I was talking about. You could see the nose guard
yeah, they're holding
tackling Cody
the
White.
whole game. See
So
it?
it's messing
And that's
up
Nagy
the
again.
whole
You got to
assignment.
get out there and say they're
And
holding our
that's why
center.
the plays are getting stuffed here, because you can't be in
Can't do
unison.
So there you
can't
go.
get to where you want to go.
The tape
and then
never
there's
lies.
no bubble created.
It's a lot of fun. I love doing it for these fans and the people on our network. It's a lot of fun there. The tape never lies. Go over there. Coaching 101. Hopefully the coaching staff starts watching these things and starts understanding predictability, discipline, fundamentals. Now there's no doubt this offensive line has improved. Physically, mentally, I see them better. They know assignments. Cars, me and you talked preseason. God, these guys, Harry Heastand, what was he teaching? There's no, my father, me and him would talk for hours. What are they teaching? And there's confusion. At least we're seeing second level, kissing, getting to the next level, getting on the backer, scoop blocks. The walrus technique continues to play it. So I was hoping it would pop up, the walrus technique. Shane, do you have a walrus?
Chuck, it's about the size of Chuck this year.
The walrus technique
Walrus
kind of
fighting.
pops up every now and then. You got to pay close attention, guys. Ready?
That's a thing of beauty. That's a thing of beauty.
There you go. So yes,
Those are seals. That's what.
there we go.
Don't
Now,
ruin it. We
Claudio.
Claudio. Jesus.
oh my!
I'm just saying what Jimmy's
Who's
saying.
signed up? I'm getting DMs already to be a producer on the show. You don't read other people's comments, Claudio. Anyway,
We're going off the rails already.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
are you guys ready for the next segment?
Yes.
This is the Claudio
Wait, just
segment.
address this
correct?
one. Address this one, Claudio. Let me keep that up there.
All right.
What's that? I didn't see it. What?
I had a tweet. I held Mitch up there because I want Trubisky to fail. Yes, obviously, American male. You're fucking brilliant. But subscribe to Patreon. Thanks.
Yeah, American Male has
Fucking-
a lot of funny.
It's really good for all of us if Mitch sucks, right? We're all rooting for that because
I mean, I wasn't just talking about the beautiful ball that he threw to Anthony Miller that he fucking dropped, but
Yeah.
you know, let's play that stupidity game.
it's because you're a closet Eagles fan, and that's why you want Foles.
You just address the truth. I mean, this network is going to state your opinion and stand there. You had Aaron Leming at the top of the show. Me and Aaron agreed on almost nothing in football as we went. And, you know, and
I always wanted Nick Foles, Phil. American Male said so.
No.
That was clear. You must be a new listener.
We'll have to get American Male on the show.
He won't come on.
At some point. But anyway, everything's
we
about
don't know
your
how
truth.
they assign themselves. They could be they.
You assess the truth of what you see. And I can attest that Shane wants nothing more than Mitch to succeed. We've just gotten to the point where we haven't seen it consistently. We've seen
Phil,
glimpses
right
of
here,
sheer excellence.
Chubbs is making a point here. It's not much of one, but we'll give him a little bit of credit. I don't think Shane wants Mitch to fail, but I do think crushing him for holding the ball and then praising him for holding the ball on a touchdown. Do you not see the fucking difference in those two plays, Chubbs? One where he fucking scrambled out of the pocket and made a fucking play downfield. Did he do that on that play, Chubbs? That I just showed you in the tweet of the week? Did he scramble out of the fucking pocket and make a play downfield?
I don't think Chubbs is going to answer, so
No, he's not
I'll
going.
play Chubbs for you.
His headphones are probably broke.
Listen, you're bad. The reality is, you only assess what you see. I assess the same thing as Baldy.
We
Go
all
into
want
the
these
tape
guys-
never lies and
We all
watch
want these guys
that
to
same
succeed.
play. Mitch, seeing that you can't be laser focused on what you want to happen as a quarterback, you have to be focused on what you know is the next thing if what you want to happen isn't there. It's the ultimate team game, and in this position of quarterback, and I know I'm using my Claudio hands, you have to freaking be the best negotiator and point guard you possibly can. So each and every play, especially in Chicago, is going to be analyzed and diagnosed. And I don't think there's any other fucking network, any other podcast, any other place that you get as thorough an analysis as you do here. I don't give two shits. Show me. I've refused to go on shows because they want to tell me what I have to say. I won't go do that. I'm me, and you have an expectation of me, and Shane is Shane, and he is going to have his, and Cars is going to stand for what he stands for. And when we're wrong, we'll be the first ones, I promise you, to take ownership of it. That's just really how it goes. So
there's no pride in sitting here and saying, right, like, I don't see it, right? Like, the whole thing is, you know, we all look and view this. We want this team to succeed. I want to see a Super Bowl. I don't want to be like the last time I saw one being 7 years old, right? Like, I would like to see one in my lifetime. So yeah, I'm going to sit down and call it as I see it. And just because it is not in alignment with you does not mean that I'm in any way, shape, or form rooting for Mitch to fail. That does me no good. If I'm going to root for a team to fail, I'm going to treat them like my Bulls, and I'm not going to watch them until they make a massive change, right? Like,
Get him the fuck off the team!
Yeah, if that's where I get to, I'm done. But I want him to succeed. I have concerns, and if having concerns means I'm a shitty fan, then in your definition, I'm a shitty fan.
It's
and I'll
called
take
constructive criticism.
Here,
Simple.
Listen, you don't have super chat. Keep that comment up. Shitty producer. Shitty job while I'm talking. There you go. Now you're back. We keep it 100 on keeping it 100.
Claudio, you're my favorite person here.
Sounds
Don't
like a
take
fantasy
it.
football team.
We're trying to.
We're streamlining here. We're streamlining.
We're trying to get this super chat up. Let's get this big dub. Yes. Thank you so much. This drop is exactly what Cars and Shayne are talking about. And it comes from yours truly, Shayne, me.
Get him the fuck off the team!
Oh, that's the wrong one.
Because I cheer for the fucking jersey.
And that's the right one. Because at the end of the day,
exactly,
that's what this is about. If a rookie quarterback is drafted in the 4th round next year and goes in and fucking balls his ass off and plays like a Darnell Mooney does at quarterback, he should play. And it would be that simple. But in Chicago, it has not been that way. It's been politics. It's been, we're paying Charles. We got to keep Charles. We got to look good. That shit's got to go. Then you'll understand that the analysis is fairly based. And that brings us to our next segment, sponsored by Phil's Coke Zero. We call it what, Claudio?
Call it Cut
Free.
It Out. Oh, we call it what? The Coke.
Hey, cut it out. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you must have been at the top of your fucking class.
It's Claudio the Barber.
Cut it out.
Cut it out.
Cut it out.
Just cut it out.
Cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out.
Cut it out.
Cut it out.
Cut it out.
Cut it out.
Cut it out.
Cut it out.
Cut it out.
Cut it out.
Cut it out.
Cut it out.
Cut it out.
Man, cut that shit out. Cut it out. Cut it out.
It's Cut It Out with Claudio the Barber. Hey, you gotta let me talk, Phil. Hey, you gotta let me speak. Claudio is gonna be bringing a new sense to Keeping It 100. It's Cut It Out with Claudio on the Tape Never Lies Network.
You got to sell that harder, Claudio.
Cut it out.
There
Someone
we
asked
go.
for some big scissors.
There you go. Look
Cut
at
it
this
out.
guy. He's
There you
prepared.
This is
Actually,
what
a
I'm
guy in
talking
the,
about.
I didn't even think about this. I forget who it was in the comments. They said, "Where's your big scissors?" And in my wall, I got tons of stuff, and I got some big scissors. So let's go. Let's get ready. You ready to throw up the first video?
Sure. Cut it out, Claudio. Number
Cut
one.
it out. Let's
Working
go.
that high-low.
Now remember, you have to unmute yourself. When I put the video up, can you do this?
Yes, go ahead.
Let's try it. This is an experiment on
Yeah,
Claudio.
Working that high-low action. Chicago cashes in.
So, Trubisky,
Set it down. Trubisky
we all love you,
operating
but
from the
cut
gun.
it out with these type of plays, bro. There are 3 rushers with 5 blockers. You need to look to your left and run, bro. Just run and get a first down. You cannot be taking a sack right there. So cut
Here
it out.
come the haters.
Cut it out. Listen,
let's put it up
keeping
again.
100.
Working that high-low action. Chicago.
You have to press unmute.
Okay.
Working that high-low action.
If somebody else could tell me right here how he doesn't look to the left and run that way when he runs into the wall, it just says, cut it
Aw,
out.
you're being so hard on Mitch.
I love it.
Cut it out,
Cut
Claudio.
it out, Mitch. Let's go.
I don't know, Claude. Shayne, you like that one?
Yeah, I'm
How
not
do you get
sure.
sacked with three rushers?
I'm not sure why I'm even on this show because I hate the Bears so much. At this point. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Wait, Shane, don't forget, you've got your Eagles show. I've got my Detroit
Yes,
Lions show.
that's
We've got to
right. And
record after this
Cars
one,
and I
so
are starting a Billy Donovan podcast on Thursday. So
Oh, yeah, it's going to be
dope.
fantastic. Yeah.
Well, I think that was a bad blocking on that play. Keeping it 100. But it is
Not your
your
segment,
segment,
Phil.
Claudio.
Not your segment,
I
Phil.
caught myself.
All right.
Phil,
Are you
don't
ready?
talk back to him.
so.
Do you see those fucking scissors?
That's I like that line. I got big scissors, the new pickup line for Claudio, even though he's married.
Looking at a 50-yard attempt. The curve didn't get there.
He didn't
You have one
unmute.
job.
He didn't unmute.
Oh
Do
my
it again.
God.
You
I
have
gotta
one
watch
job,
this
too.
shit again. You
Do it
had
again.
one job.
Yeah, one
You
job.
fucking blew the kick.
Go ahead, do it again.
You fucking blew that.
Looking at a 50
All right, can you see this guy with the K? What's kick man, kick guy? Listen, catch the ball, cut it out. You have one job. You have the best seat in the house. Nobody's there. Thousands of people want to be at that game, and you're there, and you can't do your job and catch the ball. Cut it out, dude. Catch the fucking ball. Play it again.
You want to see it again? One more
Roll it
time?
one more time.
Oh, Maron, I gotta watch.
Looking at a 50
Watch this guy.
Oh, my God.
How
There's
do you
no
not
fans
catch
in the
it?
stands.
Well, how do you not
There's
catch
no
this?
show.
Catch it. Catch it. What are you doing? Cut it out, dude.
Cut it out.
Cut it out.
Cut it out. I like how John Necrone says it. And my wife's in
Do
there.
I have to say it in an
Cut
Italian
it
accent?
out.
Cut it out.
There you. You're much
Cut it
better.
out.
Much better.
All right, we just figured out who American Male is, by the way.
Oh, you figured it
Yeah,
out?
I know, yeah.
Oh, no.
Locked in, figured it out. He's not fooling anybody. Thanks, bud.
Oh, Shane,
Oh,
are you
shit.
calling him out?
No, I'm not going to.
Okay.
Cut it out, American Male.
Cut it out.
He
Are you
outed
ready
himself.
for cut it out number 3?
Yes. Let's
Yes.
do it.
Are you
Let's do it.
unmuting?
I am
ready?
gonna unmute. I gotta.
Do you want to be by yourself? By yourself.
Go ahead.
Okay.
All right, Staley the Bear. Cut it out, wearing a mask, bro. There's nobody around you. This guy's coming over saying, dude, you're making a fool of yourself. There is nobody around you. Take the mask. First of all, play it again. Play it again. Play it again.
You have to
I got you.
unmute.
Go ahead. You're a bear. CDC says no animals can get COVID. You do not need a mask. Cut it out with the fucking mask, okay? Cut it out.
Oh, the Staley Bear.
wait,
Shit, Staley.
Claudio went to the CDC, said animals can't catch this.
Yes.
He thinks that's like a
Bravo
Canadian
on the
TV station. You think it's like a...
Bravo on the research on this one. That is.
Well,
that
I
is-
don't need. I mean, we all know this. It's
Do your
common
research. Do your research.
knowledge. But what is that? Seriously.
Cut it out.
Cut it out.
I love it.
Cut it out.
Cut it out. Every week, Claudio goes to the tape.
Might have to use
Goes to
those
the
scissors
universe.
for this segment next week.
I'm feeling this.
Better than
Sam.
last week.
It
I
is.
think.
You
Better
did.
than
You
last
stepped
week.
it
You
up.
did it. You
Thank
you got to bring the Italian accent though. It really makes all the difference in the world.
Cut it out. Azzo, bafangu.
There we go.
Does anybody
There
know
we
what that
go.
means?
No.
It means
No,
fuck
but
you
I
in
did-
Italian.
Oh, okay.
Bafangu. 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 Cut it out. Cut it out. Brought to you by Phil's Coke
Feels
Zero.
Coke Zero. It just tastes better.
It just tastes better. There's no sugar. If you're on the keto or paleo, you're not hitting any calories of that sugar because that sugar could sneak up on you real quick. Ask fucking Speed Bump Charlie.
The walrus.
Oh my God, this guy and his critiques of my soundboard. I don't have a soundboard, jackass. Smarky
All night long,
Sparkles.
this guy.
Irie.
Yeah.
Keeping it 100.
That's that keeping it 100
They're
right
seals.
there.
Just keep
That's that's a walrus. Anyway, keeping it 100 is moving on. Shane, what do we have on the agenda next? I have breaking news, and we do this.
Breaking news. The tape never lies. Network breaking news.
Listen, the Chicago Bears have had some injuries. They picked up a player, Shane.
Fucking mountain.
Yeah, give some statistics on this
This
player.
dude's bigger than Swanky's mother. 6'7", 352.
6'7", 352.
Big boy.
Now, he played at Tennessee, right? Is that where I remember him from? Could we get
McCullers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to look
Did he
that
play
up. I'm
at
not-
Tennessee? The
he
new...
was a pick of the Steelers back in 2014, so he's been in the league for quite a long time. He's 28 years old. The Bears poached him off the practice squad today, so but I think this speaks to a lot. You know, the what is it? A thumb injury for John Jenkins.
I'm kidding,
You know?
Chicago Parker. I was only kidding.
Jesus.
I'm sorry.
Did people not understand? Did people not understand the tone of the show?
Come
We're
on,
busting
guys.
balls. Don't
This
take
is-
everything to heart. Good Lord.
Hold on. We have not given the prerequisite for this course. I know Cars is a community college. It could be more confusing than the show Dark on Netflix. I don't know if you've seen that, but it is a confusing thing for some people. But for me, it's pretty simple. It's no time travel here. It's the truth, and we break balls. That means we fucking love you. We've run people off networks. We've had Tears in Canada and Queens and fucking pole riders. We've
That
done
was-
everything.
Phil said that. I didn't.
I keep it 100. People have to lighten the fuck up in this crazy world. Think about what everybody's dealing with. We're all dealing with COVID. I lost family this week. I'm breaking ball. I'm getting the short joke. Stop being, as Jeremy said, the PC police or butthurt, whatever it is.
I'm wearing glasses so they can continue to mock me for being a nerd. I mean,
and you haven't even gone to the tape.
Because I can't. My wife will leave me, and I don't need to give her any more reasons to do
Kurt
that.
Rambis tape?
Yeah,
Is that his name?
I can't, because then I have to pull the knee-high socks up, and then the really short shorts, and it just is not a good look. Absolutely.
Well, we're having fun here. We love breaking balls. We love you guys. That's keeping it 100. We don't like a troll. A troll, those guys, I mean, you're just trying to troll. We'll have a fun conversation. So we had the guy win the prize. We've had bear up, bear down, tweets of the week. We had everything, right? Am I missing anything?
No.
Not that I could think of.
We had a wall. The walrus. There you go.
They're gonna start complaining again.
It's a seal. It's our walrus. It's our mascot for the show.
We need to do our predictions. Cherie's our
Predictions. Cherie might want to be taking Claudio's job as assistant producer and get our predictions for this week. Okay, so who wants to? I was way off the charts last week, picking a big win for the Chicago Bears, and I really think I would have been right. And in any hindsight, if Anthony Miller had made that play, I think it's a whole different ball of wax, as they would say in Britain. So let's start with Claudio the Barber. He talks the most. So let's go with you,
Are
Claudio.
we doing just prediction or bold prediction too? Or
We're going to do both. So we're going to go around with your prediction for this Sunday's game versus the Falcons.
For the game. Okay. I want to definitely, obviously want us to win this game so bad. I got a feeling, keeping it 100. It's going to be a close game, but, we might not come away with a W. I don't know if that's...
Get him the fuck off the team!
But I'm going to say... I mean, listen, we got to keep it... We're not going to go 16-0. So, I mean, I think we might...
What's your prediction?
We're going to lose, I would say, 24-21.
Oh, my God.
Sorry. Listen, we can't, you got to keep it 100. You guys can't think we're going to win every game. So, I mean, I think Atlanta, off that loss...
All right, we removed Claudio from... I'm joking, Claudio.
You gotta be honest, right? I mean,
all right,
I gotta
keeping it 100.
So
we got your prediction. Yeah, Claudio's going. What was the final score?
24-21.
24.
But I've been wrong before, so trust me. I hope I'm wrong.
Cars. What's your prediction for Sunday?
So I see a lot of people like 38 points for 30 points, 32 points for the Bears. I mean, we score 30 once a season, right? I really have a hard time. Fine. I am a Lions fan. So while I think Atlanta's defense is not great, it's not as bad as it's looked, right? They did that to Seattle, or they were against Seattle and Dallas, right? Who are two very formidable offenses that we haven't reached that level yet. So I have us losing 28-17. I just don't think we can score.
Keep bringing your predictions in the chat. And
because I cheer for the fucking jersey.
Yeah, cheer for the jersey. Cheer for the jersey. We need to write a song about that. So what was your predicted score again?
28-17 Atlanta.
28-17 Atlanta. There you go. That's Cars on this. I'm very, very concerned with Shayne's prediction. I wonder what you're going to go.
I've been battling with this game. I talked to Cars a little bit earlier today. I could see this going any number of ways, but I'm going to keep it 100 and stick with my Homer self, and I'm going to say 21-18 Chicago. I'm going to
21-18 Chicago.
Yep. We're going to go down there on the fast track. You're going to see Roquan back in his, close to his stomping grounds. Robert Quinn's get these guys on the fast track. I think they're going to make some plays. Jalen Johnson's going to step up. Hopefully Kyle Fuller is there being Kyle Fuller. And I think Eddie Jackson gets his pick 6 this week.
Look at you. I'm just reading Jamie Silverberg's comment. I don't think we should put it
Yeah, I don't want to share that
If
one.
I'm going to root for a team, I want to give it all I got.
That's right, Shayne. As my father would say, give it all you got. I'm with Shayne Marsaw here. My prediction is 21-13 Chicago Bears. I think the Bears defense is just hitting their stride. It's like playing those 2 preseason games, and I really think, the big question mark for me is Danny T. Who is he and what is he going to do looking in the mirror this week? That's the only real question mark as I watch this tape. I really believe this is a fucking championship type defense, and the Bears having David Montgomery going into a fast track like that, I think the Bears defense led by Khalil Mack and company are going to come out fired up, and that's going to be the impetus of victory. So 21-13, the Chicago Bears over the Atlanta Falcons this week. Now my bold prediction, since we'll go back around here, is that the Atlanta Falcons will be called for 3 holding penalties against Khalil Mack this week. I think the 100 crew could stir up enough chaos on Twitter and just stymie the NFL with your countless array of sunshine when it comes to Mack. Just get it out there. Hashtag can't hold Mack. We tried to do this last year, but something like this happened. When you have lack of communication, sometimes that happens. So hashtag it up. Can't hold Mack. Do that this week. Got to get him free. As we said at the top of the show, it's become a travesty. It's almost a joke. And then you have these fucking guys who don't, Cars, cheer for the jersey. They almost want to see failure. And they say Mack sucks. And he's overpaid.
Well, we have the fan police that are always out there on social media letting us know acceptable takes and acceptable not takes and what is allowed and what is not. Chubbs has written a book on it. Look forward to reading that in your truck stop restroom next to the condom dispensers. But I have no idea what else I was going to say, so we'll just leave it there.
Oh, okay. I didn't give my prediction faced up like everybody else. 21-13 Bears. There you go. I did it.
52-38.
52-38. Poofing.
Yeah.
He must be poofing on what Braggs was poofing on.
Cars, is that the black-footed booby right there? Do you remember the CB fans?
The blue-footed booby. Yeah.
I think he's poofing right there.
There he is. Charles Leno, the walrus technique. Will it come back this week? What's your bold prediction? Cars.
I think we got to. I don't think it's a question of if it comes back. We need an over/under on how many times we see that in the game. And if I set that over/under at 3.5 times of the walrus technique in the game, are you in or out?
3.5.
Over or under? 3.5.
3.5.
Be over. It's got to be over.
It showed up the first play of the game this week. Hopefully, I'm going to say the over there. I'm going to say the over.
I think that's safe, yeah.
So if I went 4.5, does that change your...
That changes my...
Yeah, okay. So we're looking probably around the 4 range.
4, yeah.
All right.
4 walrus. That's your bold prediction.
The bold prediction is like 17 of those during the game, and Phil's head explodes at some point. Oh, my
God. I go crazy. Ask Claudio. I fucking lose
something
my
to
mind.
see. Something to see. It's funny.
I do not want to see it because I can picture it, and it is terrifying. Like, just picture, like we all have that parent vein, like your kid starts misbehaving, and you can just feel that thing. Like, that's what I picture.
But I tell you, that Eddie Jackson touchdown, I don't think me and Phil celebrated so much. I mean,
Yeah,
it
the
was
kids
awesome.
were throwing
my
up the
God,
kids.
throwing them up because we didn't think at all it was going to be a freaking.
Oh my God! It was a terrible call.
And,
terrible call.
It was
Surprise,
so
motherfucker.
It was.
Yeah.
It was a.
Bears,
No. Keeping it 100. Keeping it 100. All right. So that's yours, Claudio. Quickly, bold
all right,
prediction.
quickly. Since I
Yes.
said 24-21, Mitch is going to actually look good on the last drive, bring us down, and I'm sorry, guys, Santos will miss a field goal to tie it, and that's how we lose the game. That's my bold prediction.
Mr. fucking Happy Pants over there.
Well, I mean, I picked them to lose. We got to lose
Spelling it
somehow.
all
What
out.
the fuck? You know?
Wow.
So that's it. Santos, we're hoping for Pinero to come back.
All right. There you go. Hopefully. All right. I had big confidence in Cairo Santos, and then he became Carlos Santos right before our eyes again. Shane, bold prediction before we get to shout outs.
I told you, pick 6, Eddie. Number
I didn't
39.
hear that one. How did I miss that?
I
Oh
said
my
it.
God.
Yeah, he started with it.
I kicked it off.
We started at the bottom,
Yeah.
now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. Anyway. Can you guys hear that?
No.
Okay.
No?
So you can't hear that music?
No.
That sucks. It says I'm sharing, but I gotta give our shout out music, Shane. That's why. It said I was sharing, but I wasn't sharing. Yo. Can you hear it now?
Nope.
No.
No.
No. Negative.
How is that not?
Don't know what to tell you, man.
Oh my God, I'm getting pissed.
You need a. You want me to show you how to do it?
I know why. I know why. There's 2 opened up. They're the same. You goddamn filthy animal. What did he say? What did he say on Home Alone? You filthy animal, right?
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
There it is. Holy shit. Let me cut one of these out, and then I'll know which one it is. There we go. There we go. And this is why I need an assistant producer. Claudio's not doing this job for me. There, can you hear it now?
We got you.
There we go. All right, gentlemen. We're still waiting for someone to produce the shout out segment. So we always start and end our shows with shout outs. Our favorite guy that wears glasses. You're going to kick us off, Cars. You have any shout outs this week?
Yeah, I would like to shout out the fan police. They really make this a lot of fun, adding absolutely nothing to any discussion other than trying to tell people how wrong they are. So every fan police out in the chat room, you're my number 1 fan of the week. Thank you.
There you go. Number 1 fan. Claudio, the barber. The Spencer Strong shout-out segment.
Yeah,
You brought it with your big
I
scissors.
Yep. I have to always shout out the fans. They're always great in the comments. So, I'm obviously reading them all. They're awesome. I love the support. I love the shots, too, at me. I'll take it, But I want to shout out my wife for helping me out with the Cut It Out segment, laughing at my jokes, even though they probably weren't funny. But, she helped me out.
You finally figured it out.
Yeah. So, got to shout her out. I don't know if she's listening. She's probably sleeping, but that's all right.
That's it?
Yeah,
One
man, I
shot,
gotta keep,
all right.
we're streamlining, bro. We're
Okay.
2 hours.
Shane, you got it? You got any shout-outs?
Yeah, I'm just going to shout out the Ottochian family. Been a rough week for you guys. Still maintaining and doing all of the work that really, we're all contributing to, Phil, but, getting that Tape Never Lies out for the fans and dealing with the family stuff behind the scenes as a testament to who you are and how committed you are to this network and to this team and to these 100 crew fans. So, like I said, thank you for doing what you do, and hopefully we can put a end to this week that you've dealt with a W down in Atlanta. So I'm gonna shout out your whole family.
I appreciate that, man.
Well, before you shout out for about 50 minutes,
I'm gonna make it
shout
short.
out. Oh, I want to shout out Sayers, if that's what. I don't know if you were gonna do that with Gail Sayers. We didn't talk about him.
Oh, we have something prepared.
Okay, good.
Claudio just blew it up.
I blew it up. I didn't know.
End the show with that, Claudio.
Do you want me to go wake my kids up and you tell them what I'm getting them for Christmas, Claudio?
You gotta tell me these things. All right.
Yes, you guys always know Shane and Phil. We always surprise you at the end. My shout outs are going to be very short and quick tonight. I want to shout out my family all over New York, Long Island, and everywhere they come from. I just can't express what this week has been like in losing a friend and family, and all of you fans reaching out privately or personally on Facebook. I'm kind of that guy that shares, like, I don't keep up with the Joneses type share. I just try to be vulnerable because this world is full of pieces of shit, really. And it's unfortunate. Sometimes you gotta lead by example. And I think it's imperative that you share your truths and love, for, like Claudio for his wife, and me for my family, and Shane for me, and Cars for his wife. That's what this is about. And the 100 crew and this show and this network and the work that we put in is a testament to my family. And I want to shout out my cousin Eric's mom, Sally Ottochian, and the losses she's had to deal with, and my cousins DJ and Daniel, who are just devastated by this. I can't express how much I love you. So thank you all for doing and being there for me. You guys as well. I want to shout you as brothers. I mean, communication, compassion, and courage. You throw a K in there for kindness. And really, that's really the most important thing. So,
speller.
Hey, I'm pretty good at it sometimes. So what we do here before we end the show is shout outs. We will be live. I got to do some business stuff, so I'll stop the share of the beat and turn it off in my headset so I'm not tricked again. This Sunday, like every Sunday, Shane, we will be on Bears Hour Live. Every Sunday, Bears Hour Live, immediately after the Bears game.
It's the best Chicago Bears post-game show on the planet. Bar none. It's Bears Hour Live immediately after each and every Bears game. With host Shane, the smartest man, and draft Dr. Phil Ottochian. Every Sunday, Monday, or Thursday, immediately after Bears games. Your guys, draft Dr. Phil and Shane Marsaw are live on Bears Hour Live. Subscribe to the show via the Tape Never Lies Network, which can be found on YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, and Twitch. It's the best Chicago Bears postgame show on the planet. Bears Hour Live.
Oh, shit!
Bears Hour Live this Sunday will be live if you haven't joined us, you really must. It's a lot of fun. We're going to bring 2 of you guys on. Every week we try to bring somebody new on. So this Sunday, right after the Falcons-Bears game, we will be live and direct. That being said, you could find our show on the podcast now. Keepin It 100, a Bears podcast, iTunes, Google, Deezer, Claudio's favorite, everywhere. Even Amazon has picked us up. So we're everywhere you want to be. I guess that's MasterCard, someone said. So go check us out and on the podcast if you can't watch us on the YouTube channel or the Facebook page or Shy City Sports. Go over to their message board. La-di-da, all of that. There we go. Last, as Claudio spoiler alerted, today, speaking of loss, this has been a tough week. Chicago has lost one of the greatest ever to do it. Shayne Moneyman Marsaw put something together for the show. I haven't even seen it yet, but I saw like a snippet of it and I got emotional. So, RIP number 40, that is correct. We're going to end this show right here. I'm going to say goodnight to everybody there, but you want to stick around and watch this. Shayne, did you want to say anything else, or is that good to lead into it?
No.
Selected by the Chicago Bears as the 4th overall pick in the 1965 draft by owner, GM, and head coach Papa Bear.
And I want to give a special thanks to George Halas. A man who more than anyone else has made professional football what it is today. There's not much you can say about someone who's become a legend in his own lifetime, but I want to try. Mr. Halas is one of those rare individuals who is not content with things as they are, but sees things as they could be and works to make things better.
As a rookie, he exploded with an NFL record 22 touchdowns, capped off in December on a muddy Wrigley Field with 6 touchdowns. As great as he was on the field, his quiet wisdom and integrity made him the perfect choice for George Halas. Halas chose Gale to become the first African American ever in the NFL history to room with a white player in 1967, Brian Piccolo. They were completely opposites who found themselves to be best friends through football. A true story that captured America's ideal of coming together in Brian's song. They became great friends, and it was Gale at Brian's bedside when he tragically passed away before the season started. A sober part of life's journey.
Reaching this point, however, is not as important as striving to get here. This is true in all professions, in all life's activities. There are doctors, lawyers, school teachers, plumbers, all who strive to do the very best to their abilities. We hear a lot today about how the American people have lost their dedication to excellence. I don't believe that is true. Each of us excels at different things, sometimes in areas that are only a hobby, more often in our life's vocation. The most important thing, however, is to strive to do our very best.
Gale Sayers, Hall of Famer forever.
This has been a Shy City Sports presentation and a Tape Never Lies Network production. Keepin It 100. Thanks for tuning in to the Tape Never Lies Network.